Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
And aren't you all excited that the music comes to you at about 7 p.m. Arizona time on a Tuesday night?
You're welcome.
It's not exact. We don't like to be exact. I like old fudge here, fudge there. We're never early, though.
No.
You can count us for never
Those
being
days
early.
are gone.
Fuck yeah, those are gone a long time ago. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's a Tuesday night. We are in Studio C right here in Central Phoenix, Arizona. This is the 17th day of April, 2018. Show 341. It is 6 years since we started doing this cavalcade of fun, and this
Like to the day.
is it to the day?
To the day.
To the day.
Yeah, I think it is really is April 17th.
So this makes, as of tonight, this is our 278th show.
And we're sorry.
Not as sorry as most of the listeners out there. Oh my God.
The apology tour starts now.
Exactly.
As usual, Marnie Ryer is on time. Look at that. Oh my God.
She made it in the opening music.
How did you do that, Ryer? That's a little crazy. You did
She
that.
is a seasoned professional.
She is. Look at you. Well, I'm going to turn your mic on since you're here. Now you're there. Look at you. Oh my God. Well,
What
anywho.
TV show is that where like it's something about a news show where like every time just as they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the anchor puts on the last thing of eyeliner, flings it at the assistant, and goes, "Hello."
Oh, I don't know.
That's called the Marnie Ryer
I
show.
cannot remember. Oh, it's from a TV show that I
We
really
need that
like.
show.
I like that. That's enjoyable.
Really funny that they. It might be Murphy Brown that they never
Oh.
thought she would make it on time, and she always at the last second would sit down.
Oh,
like-
that. Well, we'll have to look.
That might be
research it.
true.
That's very
Seems
cool.
good.
Anyway, and by the way, this is really about the best I can do. That's the shot we're gonna have for tonight.
I'm actually in a shot for one.
And actually, life size. Joe actually is compared to the rest of us. That actual is to
I
scale.
enjoy that.
Oh, very nice.
To scale.
Nice. Well done.
That's tremendous.
And other
Nicely
viewers
done.
of the show will know from the overhead shot, which is
Just when I think I've gotten a little color through the week, I come here and realize
You
don't.
that has not happened.
There's a contrast issue.
So
It's not
this
you.
is the structure for how we're all seated for those of you viewing the show. I've
And that's
got
the one that says I've not gotten any thinner.
But look how tan you are.
look at that. My God.
Just take a lively
Companion.
companion wherever you go.
That's I guess in full what's the word they use so often
Apology?
now? No.
Disclosure?
Full disclosure. Thank you. I should be really aware of that phrase by what's all going on with all the cable news. Full disclosure for this show. Al started drinking at 3 this afternoon.
Atta girl.
4.
4. Okay,
Four.
4.
It was 4.
It was 3
It was like
central.
golfing. Yeah.
3.
4.
Yeah.
Or
Al
were you
started
trashed
drinking.
by 4? No, was trashed by 4, I think.
That's fair.
Okay. Kat
point.
had started drinking before I got to the production
That's
meeting.
true. Also true.
But that was just
No.
the one beer, right? Like you'd had it, and
Just
I
the
haven't. I just started. I've got this, but I have an assortment of beverages. I have water in case of an emergency, coffee, and booze.
So we're like an Olympic podium of intoxication right now.
I just- yeah.
Al
Yeah,
the
Perkins
one-
is on
yeah,
the first
exactly.
place.
Clearly
I'm a
listening
silver
to
medal.
my
Right.
nation's anthem.
Right. And Marnie, what are you sucking on down there? What's that Starbucks love?
That's a lot of caffeine.
Okay, got it.
That a
Now,
girl.
Marnie, we'll have to
Yeah.
ask you to chime in since you are a Starbucks participant.
Aficionado.
Yeah.
Oh.
How
she
are you?
went for the Latin. Can we make these lights go away?
Sure, reach up there and pull the center string. Can you stand up,
You mean
Al?
because it's so bright?
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's just unnecessary.
What's funny is that
That's better.
they're on every week, and he doesn't ever realize
But I
it.
turn it off like twice a year.
Yeah, that's about it. This is once. I'm gonna write that down. Anyway,
No,
Marnie,
I did turn them
Take
off
note,
before.
due to recent circumstances at a was it Philadelphia?
Philadelphia,
Starbucks.
yeah.
Well, there
going
goes
to be
my story.
they're going to be closing down. Oh, well then never mind. Let's hold that. My bad.
Well, I can answer that quickly because I do have some other news.
We're jumping the shark with headlines.
gonna-
But yeah, tell us about
No.
about the
Because,
Starbucks closure.
Because I'm here for about a half an hour.
And then
The fuck are you doing?
Oops. Well, I want
Diversity
everyone
training at
to
Starbucks?
know- Yeah. I'm doing the sensitivity training.
How come we're not fucking involved in that?
Well, because bitches, I've tried for 6 years to, be the voice of reason for that. But,
Yeah.
So but I want everyone to know, in case they didn't, that today is the last day you can get your taxes done.
No,
oh,
it's not.
No.
Oh.
No,
No,
it is not.
they give it
actually,
until tomorrow.
They extended it until tomorrow because their
'Cause their
servers
website's
crashed.
fucked up.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Really?
I would not make that up to
Yeah,
you.
it
Google
just
it.
got extended while
Google it. Look it up.
Whilst we were pre-gaming, it
I
got
just
extended.
finished on Saturday.
Guess who
Oh.
stays for the whole show now?
Well, but I have an appointment at 8.
You can still make it.
Oh.
We're not going till 8 a.m.
I think she means tonight.
Tonight.
Like in 45 minutes.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. Well, let
Oh.
me see just quickly. But otherwise, May 29th is the walkout date. Is
Correct.
that right?
Well, no, not
for-
walk out. They're just closing all stores
Closing.
for diversity,
Diversity,
training.
right.
No.
Right.
Oh, no, they're
I
walking
will-
in for that.
Racial Bias Education Day.
Very
How to
nice.
serve black people coffee and restroom breaks.
And
So
not
is
get them
it
arrested.
without cream?
I
What?
Don't know.
No, no.
It's-
okay.
Nope.
that whole thing was fucking ridiculous.
Ridiculous,
but,
completely
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's sickening actually. But let me see if I can make a little change.
well, if you can, great. Otherwise, I understand.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I will be. I'm trying to do some more local things. But the play, like as far as coffee,
Like taxes
and,
or- oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, and there's a new place at
Mine
behind
has
Meat
stupid
Patio.
taxes.
Where's Meat Patio?
At
7th Avenue.
7th Avenue in Osborne.
Yeah.
Osborne. There's a new coffee shop there where Hidden House used to be.
Oh.
That they took their sweet fucking time opening, but
Yeah.
now it's open.
Do they have a drive-through?
It's where again?
They do not. It's at 7th Avenue in Osborne on the south, let's say east corner.
Southeast corner.
Right behind Meat Patio that I am hopeful to support their local
Oh,
business.
I will definitely try it, considering the Starbucks went in across the street. But
Mina, that's fantastic.
the problem is the one that I really, really like. Now, granted, there's one just down the street, Lux, but I love Refuge. I
Oh,
love Refuge, and they
Oh,
close
yeah.
so early.
right.
Yes.
So I'm
It's
like,
Catholic thing.
I just drove by
guess.
today and I wasn't sure if Refuge is also closed on Tuesdays because they didn't look very open today as I rode my bike past.
So
Could be.
I am curious
do like
about.
them, though.
I think
Catholic
it's called
Charities.
Nitro.
They hire the people. They hire people that are in need of employment, and it's
Oh,
all
right,
part of the
right.
Catholic
Mhm.
Charities.
Yep.
And so it is for good. Your money goes
Yeah.
for good. They're doing good deeds.
And they have great, like a nitro coffee. There.
And
I
for
just
for
like it a lot.
former alcoholics, they're not real good with the wine, but they do have wines there.
They have, they're boozing it all the time. What were you going to ask? Sorry.
I'm not sure. Carry
Okay,
on.
Fair point.
Yes.
Anyway, but so I'll be there, like doing that coffee kind of stuff.
Okay.
Me, Refuge all day.
On that day. Got it.
Yeah, just that day.
Well, and
You're
if-
just seconds from my house.
I know.
and
I've been
from
thinking that.
here, they're
I
right there.
actually drive by your house all.
if you
the time.
don't,
and I wave.
if you can't make arrangements to change your tax preparation
Weird.
schedule, we understand that. I didn't realize that you were having it done. I just
take
assumed
a
that you
I didn't
lively
either until
companion
just
wherever
this
you
afternoon.
go.
Oh,
Oh right.
Yeah.
I went. Oh shit! Taxes.
yeah.
I did not think I just did not even think
You know,
about
it comes around every year the
every
same
year.
time.
I know,
every
but
year.
I'm late for everything. So just
I did
well,
mine in like
you and me both.
February.
I was
Hey,
born
give me
early.
a little-
I
Oh,
don't-
I
Late
was
for
born late.
Well, I'm late for everything somehow.
I don't want to tell people how to live their lives, but I
doesn't
get my
work out.
taxes
Well,
back
I
on
don't know.
January 17th
About
and have
every year.
spent the money by February.
A lot of times I do that, but I'm
Yeah.
in the past. But
Also,
now we have
I'm
that
not.
whole house
I'm not
stuff
an.
from last year.
Yeah, I'm not an
No.
independent contractor. There's nothing
Right.
interesting
yeah, self-employment
tax-wise.
tax sucks.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing interesting going on in my life. I just get my W-2, tell them what I paid in home taxes, insurance,
Oh, the good old days.
run the other way. Mama ain't got a lot going on.
I would love that, but because of everything that was
Yeah.
going on, I just thought, well, put it here and
Yeah.
get all the stuff together and.
It's a charming story. So, are you going to try to get out of it, or are you going to just
I am right
talk?
now.
Okay.
No, bye.
All right. So anyway. Because I'm like, you're going to waste all your time
Maybe.
telling us what you're going to do, and then you're never going to actually try to do it. But
Just
again,
take a lively companion
yeah.
wherever you
Oh,
go.
you could do a live call-in, perhaps from the whatever office you're going to. That'd be fun.
Good.
Can we do your taxes live on the air?
Oh my
Wouldn't that
God!
be
Yeah,
fun?
carry the one.
Right?
That'd be
Riveting
good.
radio.
I doubt a one
No,
would
this
be
yeah,
carried
more
anywhere.
stimulating than
Yeah.
this.
Subtract a 10. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Oh, you sent me a.
Messages. Messages.
Oh, which?
I like
Oh, 100%. Amina is talking about some sort of a. There's an all.
A whites only
Bar?
bar in Kenya.
They're the ones that are going to be doing the training, apparently.
Yeah.
The baristas are
The
already there.
baristas.
But
Yeah.
Santa Barbara and Ventura counties have automatic tax
That's
extensions till the
asinine.
30th because of the fires and the mudslides. They had a rough
sure.
year.
That really was. Yeah.
Well,
Right, and there's a difference between paying and owing. Like if I had to pay, let me tell you, I'd be
Today,
April
right.
17th
Today.
up the ass.
I
But
have a feeling that I have to, that I will have
since
to.
I know they're giving me money, I'm the first
Do
one
it
at
as
the door.
early as
have
possible.
you figured out how to make your mom a deduction yet?
It's getting there.
Perhaps a strongly worded letter.
I have a feeling that it's getting there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
A dependent. I'm sorry.
A dependent.
A dependent
no, I
is
knew
what I
you
meant.
No,
not-
Pretty
that's,
soon, yeah.
that's what I was thinking because
Yeah.
truly, like, as far as I have to read a little bit more closely,
Okay,
but
well,
it's yeah,
better
because I don't
glasses.
support her. It's not like 100%. She has the
She's like indigent.
right.
Right. She's got.
So
Is that the correct use of the word indigent? By
It
the way, I
is,
don't know.
as a matter of
What's the panel going to say on that?
No,
Yeah.
she's got a home.
No.
well,
And she's not
again,
disenfranchised either.
That's a
Correct.
whole
So
different
still
thing.
not indigent.
She can still vote.
Okay.
Disenfranchised is about
No, no,
voting.
I know that. I understand that. I was saying she's also not disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Di is neither of those things.
Okay.
Neither of those
Well,
things.
good for
Neither
your
of
mom.
those things.
Sounds like she's doing better. Kat Carlson,
She
what have you
is.
been up
She's
to?
neither indigent nor disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised. She may be dissatisfied. She may.
And for
Are
now,
we
not
still on this
independent.
from 4 years ago?
Oh God,
Everything?
for real.
Oh my God.
Comes around every time.
Every
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, it's an election year. I'll be
No.
giving my lecture on disenfranchisement.
Oh, Al, did you realize that 420 is on Friday of
and
this
I
year?
have to work. Read a comment out.
Oh, I didn't. Oh. All right. 421 for you.
Right on top of that, Rose.
Yeah, it's just they
Whatever. Kat Carlson,
don't need a lot of reasons. To
I know I
celebrate.
caught up a little bit with you in the production meeting, but what is big news in the Kat Carlson world?
Well, we are about to go multicolor in the print shop.
Hey, Cat.
A rainbow.
Now,
See?
At Hey Cat LLC.
To isolate that for her callback number.
That-
It's not as good as mine. I know you're trying.
That's
No.
gonna be. You remember ringback tones?
Yep.
You remember that when you would call somebody and you had to
Yep.
listen to their shitty music?
Yep. Oh my
I
God,
want that
that
to come
annoyed
back
the
so that whenever
shit
somebody
out of
calls me, it's
I really wish I had been meaner during this time when I had some kind of power like that. I don't understand what that means.
Do you not remember this? Used to be you could
Get a little extra.
set the ringback tone. So when I were to pick up the phone to call your cell phone,
You heard music.
instead of playing a ringing sound, it would play whatever
So-
craptastic Oasis song that you loved and paid $1.99 for.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up! I had
Absolutely.
this kind of power over time and space, and I did not
I don't
take
know if
advantage.
you ever had it on whatever phone plan, but it was an option.
It was a
I
thing.
didn't know that.
Now I am angry.
You could force people to listen to the Backstreet Boys if they
But
called you.
now I'm gonna go talk to Verizon tomorrow and see if we can get that power back, so that I can add the custom "Hey Cat" by Al Perkins
Okay.
as my ringback tone.
I
so
would
that-
like that to be my first text of the day.
Well,
I like it.
yeah, I'd like that to happen.
Yeah, me
so
too.
that's gonna be a thing.
Could you imagine someone calls you and all they hear is "Hey, Cat" over and over again?
Yeah. Can you imagine selling anything?
Imagine all the
just
business
rude.
I would lose because of that.
Well, I think it's going to be an edit. It'll be like.
God. You
should-
try to bring something interesting to the table.
I think it's wonderful. I'm
No.
gonna add it to my phone plan.
Here's how I think this is going to go. It's going to be very similar to the jab portion
Right.
of the 2016 election. What it'll be is a very nice, whatever voice you pick, it's going to be "Thank you for calling," and then it'll be "Hey, Cat." Please wait for somebody to get with you. Blah blah.
Hey, Cat!
Right. It's,
Yeah.
So
I think we found our drinking
Lovely.
word.
every time the company name is mentioned, it's going to be
Hey, Cat!
Yes.
I feel like it's getting higher.
That's
as
Doesn't
are
mean it's
you.
cat
As
left
are
the
you,
room yet.
right? 420 is on the
that's that's branding right there.
It really
I
is.
approve this message.
You
Can
don't
it
need
be
a
"Hey
marketing
Cat"
person.
with "Hey Cat" with a big exclamation mark in the end, like jab,
Maybe.
jab?
Maybe.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so you're
anyway,
you're
so
doing
we're gonna-
multicolors.
Well, we're gonna expand our capability into multiple colors, and that's about it.
Wow.
That's about it. It's been
I feel like
all
there's
work.
more than that.
It's been all work all the time, really.
Okay.
Because if I'm not at the bar, then I'm just printing the shirts and the end.
Has it taken over your entire home yet?
No, it's not allowed to. It's
Okay.
crammed into one tiny room, a little bit smaller than this.
But for just $1 a square foot, that whole back region is open.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Oh.
It really is my hope to be able to move into some sort of actual space
I
within
didn't know.
about a year or two. Mostly to escape the people in my
Yeah.
house.
I have to go to work.
Yeah.
I want you to
Two
seriously think.
problems, one elegant solution.
Because there's a problem that I didn't quite foresee in this, in that like my brain is kind of compartmentalized, right? And so there's very much like work cat and work thinking, and then home, and they're very different.
Yeah.
And so the people at home don't quite understand that I'm at work, fuckers. Leave me alone. It's
They
a
should
whole
put that
thing.
on a shirt.
Yeah.
Wear it while you're there.
I might have to. there have been some sideways glances as I've snarled at someone.
Someone?
So, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Due to a lack
'Cause-
of witnesses, we'll never know who.
Because after the 17th, and I went, what?
Yeah, right.
What do you want?
Get a cone of isolation over there is what you need.
That's right.
Get yourself a $48,000 privacy booth like the EPA guy did, and you can
Oh,
make
that
your
does
shirts in
sound-
that.
I'll bet that's a write-off too.
Oh.
And if
Speaking of
There you
taxes,
go.
next year's taxes.
and if you
are gonna
get it
be a lot of fun.
certified,
I'm gonna need
it
some
can be a
write-offs.
skiff. So then you can have official conversations in there and nobody knows about
Oh,
it.
sound controlled information
Yes, facility or whatever.
facility.
Something like that, yeah. That sounds lovely.
Something. Okay, well, that's really
Yeah.
okay. Thought there was going to be more. Don't know
I don't-
why, but I
don't- I
thought.
don't think so. I don't.
I like it.
I haven't done anything.
Okay.
I don't go anywhere. I wake up. I make T-shirts. I go make drinks.
Still in this chair.
Rinse and repeat.
T-shirts and drinks.
Oh,
That's
by
it.
the way, I'm just realizing this. I like to. I mean, you're excluded from this, but
Yeah, we did all
all
wear black
four
T-shirts.
people wore black today. What is up with that?
Mine's really dark blue on closer inspection, but that might be the laundry.
No,
No,
It looks awfully black
That
to
looks
me.
black.
It does
Yeah.
until you hold it up to one of your shirts, and then you realize it's dark blue. Yeah,
I-
get
I-
closer.
Comparing from across the room.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm good over here.
Wait.
Mine's dark gray.
No, not mine.
And it
No,
is a Cat
I
Carlson
wore
shirt.
It's very
Yeah.
black.
I
I
wore
do
it in
enjoy the
honor
Cat
of-
Carlson
Right.
Memorial
I
VIP
agree.
lounge shirt.
Yeah.
The
You just-
T-shirt that began the
blue.
empire.
That's right, right?
Wow.
Because you know you have to, when you're doing socks, you have to hold up the black socks next to like blue socks to find out which ones are actually black.
Here's what I don't do.
I only have black socks.
Right. I don't buy blue socks.
Thank you. Yes, I figured one elegant solution there.
Yeah.
No.
Do not ever buy me anything other than a black sock.
Kind of like Steve Jobs. He only had one outfit.
Yeah. It's easy. It's so much easier.
Right.
I think.
Even dead, still the same outfit.
All the tech greats, Zuckerberg, the one zip up,
The one hoodie.
the
Yeah.
one hoodie,
Right.
right?
Right.
But he got a JCPenney big boy suit out last week and went and talked to the people on Capitol Hill.
It's a rental.
He actually went and mocked the people on because he needed to.
All we
I
need are
just like
80-year-old
that-
people trying to figure out the fuck the internet
I
does.
like that no one came out good in that. Like in the whole
No.
interview, they came off as
Idiots.
idiots, and he came off as like, I can't say it because she'll get mad at me, but nothing went well for anybody during that entire time.
Capable. I think they're handy.
Capable, yeah. He was like way far to the right on the spectrum on that one, right? That's nice, right?
Right.
That
Yeah,
was
sure.
fine, yes.
See? Sensitive. That's what they call me. Sensitive.
I don't think
it
anyone's
didn't-
calling you that.
No.
No.
But it was
No,
like
but it's nice of you.
things like, well, how do you make money? We sell ads, sir. Duh, no shit. Like, who didn't figure this
Now,
out?
were those cookies oatmeal? That
Oatmeal.
was my favorite meme of the entire week.
Now, these cookies you're talking
Talking
about,
about,
are
were
they
they
oatmeal? Can I use them with
didn't
my
see that.
Metamucil?
Oh my God, I didn't
My
see that.
God.
That's too funny. So, Joe, what'd you do?
What I do? Well, probably
And
have
don't
to-
go back from the last
No,
time you were
no.
here, just
Well,
like the
no.
past few days.
I know, past few days.
I need to
It's a
hold
7-day limit on this shit.
This
Oh,
presidency.
parade. It's not a
Goodness
parade
gracious.
script where I have to tell everything Wells
I
Fargo's
love it.
done.
Parade.
For,
For goodness gracious.
Since the wagon.
Although it's been it's actually, and I thought this would be is my mic actually up because I can't really hear myself in the.
Oh.
maybe we just
Yes.
need to turn your
Yes, it
headphones
is.
up.
Your
We can hear
headphones.
you
Oh, maybe
perfectly.
headphones.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
Try the one that says guest. Turn that up a little bit. Is that helping you out? a
Can
little?
I hear me
That-
now?
that's
yeah,
my
a little bit better.
headphones.
Or not.
Okay, then no, they go.
Yeah.
Try and,
I'll just keep talking.
I don't know, but my
Yeah,
headphones.
you're definitely in.
Oh,
my,
you're
in my
100%.
head.
Okay. Well,
No.
I'm somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever thing says guest was my headphones.
okay, well,
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
well, I need to relabel those.
I'll just continue. I thought it would be, and it's surprising actually. All of you are here because the past couple times I've come, and it's like, well,
Well, we
one's
all
missing or
tried.
two but I thought, okay, I thought it was safe. The 6th
We thumb wrestle
anniversary.
for it.
I looked up the date a couple months ago. I'm like, wow, they're gonna actually, as the founder of this whole Q-Talk thing, I look up dates and I'm like, that's so cool that the 6. I mean, 6 isn't like a major number, but how cool that it's actually like an anniversary on the exact day that you started. But otherwise,
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Otherwise,
More than 5.
it goes up 1, right?
By how I do
But,
math.
I understand.
anyways,
Drink on that.
That's what's going on the T-shirt.
yeah.
anyways, life overall has been good. The condensed version of what's really been going on is I've enjoyed a lot over the past few months of kind of working my new career of what I'm doing with marketing stuff and helping companies kind of figure out what they're supposed to be doing marketing wise. But and this may be as I'm trying to move out of state, although it seems to keep getting delayed.
Well, I have a question about that, if I may interject.
Absolutely.
The requirement for your participation in this show is that you are moving, and I am holding fast that you have to leave
He
the
tricked us.
state of Arizona at some point
Okay.
in
Because
the
I
near
can't come
future.
back.
Well, no,
That's a
what-
hard-hitting interview
well,
here.
the way that I
tricked
looked at the
us.
contract, I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
your reasons for showing up was it's the 6-year anniversary and I'm leaving town.
And that's
that's-
absolutely true.
So that's what I bought off on.
So you contend that they're mutually exclusive, like they have to go
Yes,
together.
yes.
I got you.
So it's-
6-year anniversary is happening, but you still have to leave.
All right.
The state.
Well, most likely.
We were
the state-
bamboozled. We were bamboozled, I say.
So continue on with your story of woe and
Yeah.
cheer.
Do we have a Michael Cohen on
didn't-
staff?
didn't
Because we're gonna need to get
expect
this
that.
fixed.
Oh, Hannah.
I'm also going to need an NDA signed from you,
Oh boy.
Stormy.
So hopefully I will be moving soon then.
Okay.
And so this may be this will be, I guess, the last time I'm here as an Arizona resident.
Oh, there you go.
In studio.
There you go.
Legally.
Yeah, legally. Have to change all the things and all that stuff. But
Legally.
so I was thinking. Speaking of,
This podcast is being recorded for quality control purposes.
and maybe reviewed.
Never review anyone.
Whatever you say or
me.
do on this
My
podcast
God.
can and will be used against you in a court
Probably.
of law.
Yeah.
I need a gummy worm.
So speaking of Q Talk and all that stuff, I was thinking, history-wise,
stop you
I
right
think
there.
a lot. I know. I think
Yeah,
a lot.
stop
Hey,
thinking.
We would
It's-
like to
it's
stop
fun-
you,
it's-
right?
We
Trust
never
me.
do on a Tuesday.
Trust me,
Do we have
it's-
to like bump up our game?
No, this is fun.
Ah, good.
This is
Okay.
fun. It's a fun story.
All right.
Okay, I promise. I
Okay.
promise. If you don't like it,
Good.
I don't know. But
We'll
anyways,
let you know.
so remember a couple years back, we were at the old studio
I drank.
and we were kind of closing that down, and that you were gonna at least move it here. But
Mm-hmm.
at that point, it was assumed that Q Talk and the shows and stuff would just continue. But ultimately, that didn't pan out, and you took over and transferred. I basically transferred the whole thing over to you, and you've been running it ever since. And thank you so much. It's lovely that you guys continue to do this. I mean, I hope you continue to do it for another 6, 12, or however many more years.
That sounds like a curse.
6
But-
people, including their moms, agree.
But the
My
story,
mom does not agree.
And somebody in Kenya.
but the story goes that
We're
Back
not to
then-
the story yet.
yeah, but back then, as we were kind of like transferring stuff over to you, Clayton,
Yes.
I had figured something out to do, like an actual like a public transfer of ownership.
Okay.
But I sort of forgot about it and we never took care of it. So I thought we could do that tonight. Again, a couple of years late because I'm good at doing things late.
I'm
you
a
know-
notary.
Actually, I think we did. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
actually
We did.
notarize
Yeah.
it.
I need
But
that
there's
service.
something.
Yeah.
But there's something else.
No.
You know how there's that phrase.
I
You know,
feel
like,
like this is some bullshit coming up right now, Kim.
I'm
it's
worried
the-
that we're about to
I
get
brought my
evicted.
checkbook.
Y'all are evicted. Right.
I got my stuff packed.
no. It's better. It's better than that.
No.
So you know
good.
the,
I
It's
didn't know
better
that
than
was
that.
good.
What could be better than eviction?
the phrase. You know.
Somebody
the-
give me a fat cookie. Somebody give me a fat cookie, please.
So you know the phrase. That people use, the passing of the baton.
Uh-huh.
So as it turns out, years ago,
Is he gonna do like a baton thing?
There's a lot of electronics in here. Don't do the baton thing.
Don't twirl.
as it turns
Unless
out,
it's on fire. That
not a
baton.
fire.
The John was on.
As it turns out, there were batons created
Oh.
and forgotten about at the Q Talk America Archives Center, otherwise known as a storage unit. And so I thought we could have an activity and actually
Oh, no.
publicly pass the baton.
Do these people look like they do activities? Well, she does.
Oh,
She
this
boxes.
is very,
I do.
very, very,
Yeah,
very
I'm
simple.
Oh, this low impact?
My bike
This is
here.
very low impact.
Very
It's
low
very
impact.
fun. I think for the audience, it'll be
I
fun.
need
Hey,
another
again,
drink.
it's my last show as an Arizona resident. I do need to make one minor adjustment
just
to
the
keep with
last
the
show.
to keep with the continuity from a couple years ago. So I'll just adjust the
Oh,
top
my.
half of my
My
wardrobe.
food's falling. Uh-oh.
Oh,
He's,
no.
what is he doing?
He's taking off clothes.
You're taking off clothes.
It's not
He
that
is
kind of
Stormy
show.
Daniels.
It's
He
not
is
that kind of
Stormy.
show.
No, it's
we
not.
have promised partial nudity for a long time.
What's
Oh,
happening?
look at
I
that.
like
It's a
that.
Flying
Cat-
kitten
cat-
Pop
cat
Tart.
will
I
be,
like
um,
that. I do.
Jealous of the
I do.
the Nyan cat. So this is what I was wearing in the last show of the previous studio.
Oh, very nice. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't think I've ever paid attention. I went to that shirt.
Why
I
do you
was
know
drunk,
that?
Though you know that.
Because I'm a geek, and sometimes I have a little bit too much time on my hands.
Admitting you have a problem is the first step.
That's
No,
exactly
but fair
right.
point. Because normally I just drink a lot then.
Okay.
Okay, so
yeah.
Val, yes, you have a question.
You have the floor.
The last
Similar to water aerobics.
the last What?
Show in the old
in
studio.
the old studio with Babe.
Of your show.
My show. I was
I'm
not.
like, I would notice
Oh.
if somebody was wearing
I
a
am
Pop Tart on
terribly
their
Honest to God,
shirt.
I thought you meant our show. And
no, I was not explanatory enough.
Oh, okay. So
That's
I was
okay.
like,
That's better because I was like,
you
really?
wear a Pop Tart shirt, I'm gonna notice.
Yeah,
Especially
and
a
normally I'm gonna
especially when
notice that.
strawberries
And a
involved.
cat.
Burries? What are the
It's
burries?
my blueberry,
Blueberry,
strawberry,
strawberry,
raspberry, all my
raspberry.
favorite berries.
So we're gonna start with
Oh,
the fourth.
we haven't started yet?
We'll be done very shortly.
Okay.
So the fourth cast member, we'll start with that, and I think you've outlasted Buddy and Katie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, sure.
by leaps and
So
bounds.
congratulations for that.
Buddy
Why,
ma-
thank you. That's
Well,
very nice.
Betty did like 6 shows, and then he left.
Is that cumulative?
Yes.
And irregardless of the fourth cast member, sometimes tends to be the person who sometimes tries to smooth out the show if the show kind of goes off the rails. And I think Kat, specifically you, take care of that.
Specifically you. Is there another cat in here?
Perhaps.
Wait a minute.
So we're going to begin, and your color,
My
the
gosh.
color of your baton, is blue. And
It's
these
blue.
are-
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
Is that for
done.
personal
Q
use?
Talk America
My
batons.
gosh.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Kat, please place your hand
We
on the
run?
baton.
Thank
Oh.
Did we run
That's
somewhere
lovely.
at some point?
you.
No, I like that.
This is how you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they do it on TV. I've seen them do it.
Can we get a little
Chariots of Fire?
Yeah.
I can't.
So,
We'll get dinged for it. God damn it.
so
Not,
Catherine,
not if we hum it.
Can I just sing it? Dun, 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 dun.
so Catherine F. and Carlson,
Yes.
do you promise to keep
Oh
the
no,
spirit,
there's a vow.
the spirit,
I
mission,
don't
and
believe in
vision
marriage.
of Q Talk America alive and
hollow.
doing well, as long as you're
Well,
affiliated
so's this
with this
vow.
fine program?
From now until I quit. Yes.
Thank you. You may have the baton.
You're,
Thank you.
I would prefer you to do this on a kazoo, Marnie. I would really think, or a comb and a piece of wax paper.
And now going in, what would this be? Reverse alphabetical order or something like that?
How about just whoever's closest to you?
By last name. We're going that way.
Okay.
Marnie, I've
gonna
heard
calm
that
that down.
you tend to like a certain color.
Oh no.
Would it be this color?
Oh my God, yeah. Fantastic.
Marnie
Oh, wait, am I
Ryer.
running?
No,
Marjorie Simpson Ryer.
please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got it. You
I
got to
thought
grab
that
it
was
from
air
behind.
guitar.
yeah.
There it is.
Margie Simpson. Ryer.
Do you promise to keep the vision and whatever else I said about Q Talk alive and going well for as long as you're here?
Blah, 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 blah. Absolutely.
Outstanding.
And I love the purple. Well done, Joe. Thank you so much.
If you think this is fun, just wait till the obsession
Oh
segment.
my gosh.
If you think this is fun,
Yeah.
we're
Oh
sorry.
Oh my gosh.
What
It's a
is-
musical instrument.
I also noticed. Now I do notice that you have a glossy finish and yours is a matte finish. I
This
like.
was a mess up by Amazon.com.
It's okay.
No, it's lovely.
technical error.
It's a, it's, that's right, it's a
fantastic.
technical error.
Doesn't
Now
show
I
finger-
think we don't really have to guess
Fingerprints
what
by
Al's
Hanson.
color is. Anyone
We
take
don't?
anyone take a guess?
White.
Blue or
Green.
green?
He loves
Yeah.
green.
Oh, well
It's
played.
either a
Even
blue
Christmas
or a
ribbon
green.
green is a favorite.
So
Isn't that
Val
beautiful?
Perkins, do you promise to et cetera about Q Talk and keep doing these shows?
Yeah,
as
just
long
talk
as-
over everybody else who thinks they have a show. Sure.
That's outstanding. Thank you.
Oh, I bet I know what color mine is.
Oh, please take a guess.
I think
I'm
yours
actually
is
curious.
Black.
I'm
a
gonna
lovely,
assume black.
a
I hope
lovely-
it's
No.
a V-neck.
Oh, I bet
But-
it's Periwinkle.
But Clayton, you have
Just 'cause.
you have the laugh, you have the ability to keep this
Pizzazz.
going, and some would describe, I would describe your personality sometimes as energetic.
Wow, you're one person who would
And
describe it as
so-
that.
His color tonight is red,
Oh,
or
Oh,
perhaps it's
Ooh.
Is
slightly.
it? It's like Bert Sienna.
Yeah,
I don't want to take your gay
I do
card right
appreciate
away
that.
from you.
No. But
it
I
was a
like
multi-pack.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna hand this because I can't.
so wait, are these?
So yours came with no thought whatsoever. You were just the
Oh, so we're
fourth
gonna have to actually relay this.
Oh, let's have to hand off.
Mr. Clayton, middle initial that I don't know, McKee.
M?
Do you promise
A.
F. I'm gonna go with F.
to
A.
continue doing this
Adam,
show for as
Anthony,
long
Alan.
as
Absolute.
Clayton Fitzgerald McKee.
do you promise to keep whatever Q Talk was originally started for, attempting to continue to do that
Absolutely
as long as you
not.
continue this show.
No.
Okay, great.
Because the way it started is sure as hell not the way it's gone. So
But
we're
the
gonna,
great thing
we're gonna
is,
keep it like it is.
But the great thing
We have
is
no cooking
you're
shows.
Still, no. But the great thing is you're still reaching people and making people laugh.
Yes.
You're reaching for the stars.
My feet are on the ground.
Now, finally,
Yeah.
Oh shit!
one final little quick thing.
One
I
ring
want
to rule them
everyone,
all?
I want everyone to raise
If this is
their
a fucking glitter bomb,
no,
I'll
just-
kill you.
no. Just
I will
everyone,
kill you right here
I'll
live on
kill
the
you
air.
myself.
everyone, please,
Kill you
everyone,
with my bare head.
and I'll be done here in a second. Please, everyone, raise their batons and try to touch them into the center of the room.
Oh.
You can make
And I
noise.
will.
Excuse you.
And this is my
The silver.
silver baton.
Luke, I am your
father.
By the power invested in me, by the as the founder of this network, I do declare that you guys your own podcast network. Congratulations.
Sword
Aw,
fighting
thank you.
finally in the studio.
That was awesome.
I'm gonna say no.
What?
My only criticism: you should have put like the gay flag colors.
Why no?
No, I think that was very, very
No, purple-
fantastic.
purple
It wasn't in the
for her.
It was
wasn't
good.
in the budget back then.
Yeah.
Okay, now wait a minute.
fantastic,
Okay, no
Joe.
wait,
Thank
wait, wait,
you.
wait, wait. I have a question about these
Love
little
it.
things.
I might have an answer.
Well, I bet you will. Now, did you buy these
Yep.
just for this, or were these really something you did a long time ago?
I will leave it up to you as to whether you believe the story or
Oh,
not.
I don't care either that much.
They are cute though.
They are cute.
Mine's green.
Clayton.
Like I said, I've got something coming up a little later in the obsession that might top this.
Was he beaten to death in the
Jenny,
kitchen?
Joe will be beaten to death with batons.
Was he beaten to death in the kitchen with the baton?
It was
Smile.
Oh, Amelia thinks
Maggie
it's-
Simpson right here in the kitchen with the baton.
And what was
Also
your
known as
Marjorie.
Margarine.
Margarine?
Damn it! I can't even get her name right when it's wrong.
I don't know. Joe, I have no words.
That's fantastic. I didn't know how you would react, but
I
now
have words.
officially,
Thank
publicly,
you.
it's done, and you have
Are
lovely
we
little
sure? I'm afraid that at some
Hey,
point,
no, we have it on. We have it on
recording.
yeah,
Thing.
7
You did
people have
press
seen it.
play, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we're streaming, we're live. What are you doing?
People
Kat?
are reacting.
Well, I just wanted to make sure.
Both-
She's
Take it-
taking pictures through her
Through
tube.
my
too.
telescope.
Oh, you shouldn't.
Can you see the galaxy?
It's pretty good.
I know that's tunnel vision, Cat, right there. Look at that. My God.
Oh my gosh. She's flirting with the
I'm
baton.
exhausted, and we're only to Joe at this point.
I'm not flirting with the baton.
Well, the question is Marnie staying?
No.
Well, you gotta tell us what you've been doing.
Tell us your story.
I saw the best thing this weekend. We went to the Phoenix Theater and saw
Oh, $1 Million Quartet.
$1 Million Quartet.
Oh,
Oh, how was it?
It
I would
was
enjoy that, I'm sure.
So good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you really would have.
that era of music.
Yeah, it was Great Balls of Fire. Who sings that? Help me.
That would
I
be
can't-
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Thank you. Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins, Elvis Presley.
No relation.
And, right.
Right.
Not today.
Not right.
Not today, Berta. And
drink
Johnny
more.
Cash.
Right.
And it was the guy who
That's delicious.
played the part of Jerry Lee Lewis was a fucking riot. And
Was he?
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Did he sleep with a cousin on stage?
Nobody talked about it. You know. Talked about a lot of stuff like
Yeah.
that. So. But it really was good.
Okay.
We enjoyed that tremendously. And then yesterday Aaron and I celebrated our 7-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Many
Thank you
years
very
have
much.
passed.
Wait a minute. I'm itchy.
7-year itch?
No.
Oh.
I gave her Benadryl.
No, smart.
I literally did. I put it in her card, like, here. Just take that.
Oh, that's look at
And-
you.
yeah, and
Keeping
I'm-
puns alive even
I
in cards.
know. Look at that.
How lucky she is.
I'm saying, you know
Boy,
that
howdy.
it's true. So it was very cute. It was.
And she
it
looks
was-
great. I saw. I
she does.
made you come into my news feed, and I saw a picture of you two doing something. Don't remember
They do
what.
that sometimes.
We do.
Yeah.
Like the race, like that.
I saw
kind
you
of
at your
thing?
what would you call it, idiot event? What was it called?
Idiot event.
No, what was it called? The
Yeah,
idiot
Iditarod?
idiot mud run.
No, the.
What was it called?
Rugged Maniac.
Oh, I was close.
No,
Come
it was
on.
something more recent that I saw a picture of you. Oh, it was the Red for Red.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
right,
That
right,
day, yeah.
mhm.
Oh,
No,
that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was.
I will a rod. I did a rod.
I did right.
Oh, here's your rod right here.
So, you need a rod? What?
No,
Anyway,
thanks.
So, but it was a.
Just had one, thank you.
Awkward. Okie dokie.
Got it at the office.
So, but it was lovely. That was a lovely week.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. it
And
happens.
hopefully I don't find out I have to pay anything tonight. Let's just
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm doing Kegels right now, thinking about it, hoping that you don't have
Elevator
to.
going up.
right.
Elevator going down.
Batons where we can see them, people. Batons where we can see them.
I'm going to be bringing in things to clean these batons.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of show.
I have a dishwasher.
No,
I have a
know.
dishwasher.
Not that
Yeah.
kind of
Good,
show.
Good. I just don't trust
Now
you
wait a minute.
people.
I have another question. I'm going to go back to Joe for just a second.
Oh dear.
Regardless of popular demand, now you have to leave that one here.
Yep.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
My fatness will take
There are
forever.
There are 5 mics here in the Q Talk America studio.
that
That's
baton
fine.
has to
I
be
transferred
passed.
it anyway.
So
So,
I
When you
Right,
come
so-
back into town,
yeah,
you know.
we can borrow the baton.
Yeah, okay.
While here. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That'd be great.
Wild.
Sorry. I'm just closing things up.
What do you think I'm doing? Oh,
Again, batons where we
Everyone,
can see
Yeah,
them.
again,
Yeah.
batons. Oh, I kind of like that when they're all set up here. I kind of like that's kind of fun.
Kind of nice.
Set mine somewhere here. Good idea. I'll do that.
Oh.
Look at that.
I like it.
That
Look at
is-
that red
so
puffed up
colorful.
motherfucker.
But I do have to tell the Marina before she leaves that because of an unfortunate I can't find shit thing in my house and tearing my house apart, I found a backpack that I must have used to carry on my way to and fro the show. And I found like all kinds of weird stuff in it. But the funny thing was, is I found the bell that he made us all take home, the sorry bell, and I meant to bring it in tonight, and I
Oh, that
left
would've
it on the
been
computer.
awesome. I love it.
Those fucking Bank of America bells.
You know the sorry.
Uh-huh.
I still have.
From the parade last year, yeah?
Oh my
You-
god.
Oh, no,
last
this
year,
is-
2 years
oh,
ago.
No, this is from like 5. This is
Yeah.
before
Oh,
these.
before-
These
No,
were the
right.
compromise
Right.
bells.
But no,
Way before.
the red bell, right?
No.
No. It
It's
was
just
way
a
before.
bell on a black handle from.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was
Wow.
the original
Yeah.
show bell
There was
Oh.
that
the
you
original?
told us if we didn't take them
Wow.
home, you were gonna kill us.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
And
remember that
somehow
at
we
all.
thought this would be better, so we learned
Yeah.
how to use
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
And I remember when I ordered these, you all thought I was crazy. It would be the most annoying thing ever. Turns out it's not the most annoying thing
No,
on
but,
this
but-
show.
but they were a compromise to the other bell because
You're
you hated
welcome.
them.
Yes.
Oh, and one last thing
funny. Oh
that
my
I
God, that's
found,
great.
and I don't know, guess how many clocks do you have in here? Is
A
it
few.
just the
I
one?
have that one.
The atomic clock.
And every fucking device we all have in
I
here.
found the manual
Oh,
for it.
I've been looking for that. Thank you. That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's the clock. That's the actual atomic
That's right.
clock.
That's right. I found it somewhere.
Oh, well.
and I'm like, I'll give it to Clayton.
Leave it with the
'cause I don't
secretary
need
on
it.
your way out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, we don't need a manual
Why
for
did
it.
you keep that, and why did you need that?
I
I'm
don't.
totally kidding. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
need it. You can Google everything. I could, if I needed to know how to set
funny.
something.
I was like, wow. It was in the
That's
Q Talk
funny.
archives.
I like it. It should go into like our little capsule. You know, when
Time
we put a
capsule.
time capsule together.
Oh, who's
I've
in
got a
charge of
backyard
that?
big enough to bury something. Let's
Yeah.
try that.
Who's in charge of putting the
Why
capsule
stop at a
together?
capsule?
We should. We'll put one together.
Okay.
We have to put in the recording of
Why?
what's the matter with
Why
Katie.
stop
I
there?
could think of some
Really?
people that need to be buried there. Let's start there.
Well, let's just get a big capsule. We'll call it a casket.
I
Just
said
start digging.
we're just gonna start.
I'm good with that.
God, a casket.
And just throw a lot of shit in
A
there.
tisket, a tasket. Al, we brought you a casket.
Who are we burying in the
Oh.
casket?
I had a nickel for every time
Yeah.
somebody said that to me at my front door.
Here's your nickel.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
would hate to be late to something. So.
Where's your meeting? I mean,
46th Street in Thomas?
Not yeah, she's not making it there.
46th and Thomas. It's 7:45.
She'll be right on time at 10
Traffic has
after
died
8.
down.
No.
Now, has the person doing your taxes met you before?
Yes.
So they're not expecting her at 8.
Okay, good. Never mind.
Wait, I don't know how slow you fucking people drive, but
Whatever.
maybe
All
I
right.
drive
Well, we're gonna let Joseph move over to your place because then I can get rid of this ugly shot.
Hasta next week, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. I love that.
Happy taxing.
Yeah, don't owe anything.
Is that the correct salutation?
I'm leaving.
Merry taxing.
We'll get you back next week, maybe.
Tax well.
We'll get you back in here.
Ooh, my glasses.
Oh, you're gonna need those because you have to write that check.
Look at the numbers and things.
Oh, you have other ones.
Oh.
Oh, those are just your cheaters.
Yep.
For in here. Got it.
Hasta la vista.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Ryder.
Oh, my cheaters are repaired. I should put them on. Look at these.
You're gonna have to go around. You're gonna have to go around.
Oh,
The shot is.
It's actually that.
Yeah, yeah. You can look at this monitor shows what you look like
Oh,
right
my
here.
goodness.
So
What-
you have
what
to
a- what a
roll into the
concept.
shot. I'm not
Okay.
customizing it.
No,
No, look at
would
you.
not expect.
There you go.
that.
Now try those headphones. No, try
that's right.
hers.
My bad.
You might be able to hear. They may be turned up more. I don't know if they are or not.
Oh, it sounds much better.
Oh, there you go. Well, sure. Okay. Well, we've beaten up that horse. That horse. Marnie just left. Al, what you been up to?
Well, fun story.
Hope so.
Last week I was looking for a bike pump.
Will there
Please
be
go get that
handouts?
so I had to take it with me and blow up that goddamn exercise ball that has been sitting on my end table or on top of my one CD tower for 9 years unmoved. This thing has never moved. And Oscar Sunday, in a tidying fury, I put it away.
The exercise ball.
Somewhere.
No. The,
Oh,
the
the
hand pump,
The
for
pump
it, right?
that pumps it up.
And the little accessories that come with the little hand pump, the little.
Oh,
Right.
no. I
Does
never
it
used.
also pump up the jam
Oh,
Yeah.
look
Pump
at
it up.
you.
while your feet are stomping?
Something.
It has no accessories. It's just the one part you slam it in the ball, you pump it up, you stick the pin in, you're done. Life is good. It's a whole thing.
I went on a
find
date
it.
like that
But
once.
in the meantime, I found all this shit in my house, cleaned out, threw away all kinds of stuff, found this horrible clothing ensemble in my winter clothes drawer
Oh my gosh.
that I washed it because it still fit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I realized after the car accident 6 years ago, right before we started the show, it was what we went to Walmart because none of us had any clothes.
Oh.
So we all had to go to Walmart and buy something just to throw on to sleep in, so that we weren't in the same clothes that we'd been in all day in the car accident and everything. But I was like, I put them out on my bed, and I'm like, what situation was so bad that I bought these two items, like this pair of wintry sweatpants and long sleeve homeless person jersey? And then I figured out what it was as soon as I put it on and saw it on me in the mirror, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was for the hotel in after the car accident. But found my dad's pajamas from the 50s, from his honeymoon that he had worn when they saw the pajama game, and then when I was in the pajama game in the 80s.
Cute.
My mom was like, because I told her, I'm like, we need pajamas because for the finale of the show, everybody's in different pajamas, so I need to go buy some pajamas from the store. And my mom was like, well, you probably will fit into the ones that your dad wore on our honeymoon. I still have them, and they're so cute. And so I still have them. And then I found, the cutest. Keith Haring, if you don't know who he is, Google it. He did, for a Canadian clothing company, he designed different clothing thing, outerwear, whatever, underwear. I don't know what the hell you call it.
Right.
But I have a cute pair of pajamas with shorts that were Point Zero from Canada. Keith Haring, before he was really famous, just adorable. And then just all kinds of fun pictures and just junk in the house, hidden in drawers that I hadn't thought of, I don't know, in the 9 years I've lived there or the 6 months I was at the apartment. I hadn't thought about any of this stuff for years. And as I'm pulling out things, I was like, oh my God, I still own some of this stuff. Some of it was cute, some of it had to be done, and then there was some porn that needed to be recycled. I don't even know what, there was a magazine that I'm like,
You
I don't,
recycled it?
what is the proper thing to do with something this filthy? Is it recycle it or just trash it and hope that,
Someone
I
never
recycled
finds
it. So I went with the earth.
All right.
So, but that was funny to see an old porno magazine from 1980, I don't know, 4,
Wow.
5, mustachioed gentlemen. Anyways, just some,
Interestingly enough, I'd have taken that off of your hands and put it as a prize for Naughty or Nice Bingo.
Oh, 100%.
oh, that would have been fun because it was in
100%.
pristine condition. None of the pages were stuck together because even I wasn't attracted to it.
Even if it's in crappy condition, we welcome shitty prizes too.
Well, I haven't taken out the recycles to the actual official place yet, so I could probably dig it up for you.
What was
Should
it
it have-
called? Mustachio what?
No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Oh.
They all had 80s porn stashes.
Oh, I thought this was the actual name you were spouting off of the magazine.
Oh, no, the magazine
yeah,
was
no.
called, Beat Off to This Fucker. Or something equally
Yeah,
as...
because the prize categories on the wheel include porn, naughty prizes, nice prizes, and alcohol. So
Sure.
Well, I think
So-
this is like a match made in recycling.
Yeah, so that really was. It was a fun afternoon, and then Clayton came over and we watched the season finale of Schitt's Creek.
Oh, very nice.
And found, again, another thing that I realized I owned is I was starting to think of treasures that were hidden in the house. Campus Ladies, a
my
TV show
God.
from the Oxygen Network, 2006 to 2007. There's only either 12 or 16 episodes. The show is impossible to find. It's not available anywhere except for in my living room. It's a bootleg DVD taped off of someone's TV. And it is one of the funniest shows that has ever been on TV. And it is so
was wrong.
offensive, so wrong, so funny. And we watched 3 or 4 episodes of the second season, and then he left, and I watched the rest of them. And I was like, NBC bought Oxygen, and decided to go with like all reality TV programming and got rid of like the couple original shows they had.
Awful.
Or it was because the shows were so offensive to so many different races, religions,
Also an
creeds.
option.
Yeah.
Well, the way we got to watching the show was we watched an episode of the Goldbergs, and he remembered that one of the characters of the Goldbergs, the dad in the Goldbergs, is in a scene in Campus Ladies.
In the funniest episode of
And
Campus Ladies.
So funny, where Sean Hayes plays a special person who one of the girls' main characters is dating, and she's the one who doesn't realize he's special.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
she doesn't realize she's dating a handicapable person, and it's hysterical.
They walk into the bookstore where he works on campus, and the guy the one who says the line is like he's the manager of the bookstore for all of the special students, and these girls walk in and he assumes that they're special, and she's like something about I'm okay.
He's like,
I'm
"Are you
normal."
here to see Barry?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, you're one of Barry's friends. I'm fine." Of course
Course
you
you
are.
are.
Did someone say you weren't?
I bet you could ride a jet ski if somebody put a strap on it.
Offensive.
Oh my god.
Did Barry just get dumped by the slow guy? I mean, it's so wrong.
So in so
Like
many
he
ways.
farts as he breaks up with her. It's so wrong. But we laughed. We laughed.
He breaks up because she's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
He's embarrassing him. I can't remember what his name is. Is that a rocket in your pocket, or you just happen to see me? It's a rocket. So wrong.
So wrong.
I'm gonna look it
One quiet night at the bar, I will bring it in, and we will have a
You have to
campus
watch
lady-
it all.
and you have to kick everybody out because they'll all be offended. There'll be some kind of a protest.
Oh
for
no, we
showing
just
it.
invite them in, but they have to sign a disclaimer.
Yeah.
They have to sign
An NDA.
Oh my
Sure.
God, somebody's calling you.
Even if religiously offended, you can't object.
By the way, Al, I think I found a picture from the magazine that you recycle. I think is it this guy?
If only.
Wow.
That would be a step up. So Clayton, what'd you do this week?
Well, it's been very busy. I got a lot of things going on, a lot of irons in the fire. I fixed a washing machine this week. I fixed a plumbing issue at a hair salon. That's actually both those issues were at a hair salon.
Was it the cult hair salon?
It was the Cult Hair Salon, yes. Interesting that I found out how this washing people buy things off of, and I do understand if people are on a budget and they buy things off of Craigslist or not eBay, but other locally sourced classified ads.
Pretty much my whole business.
Backpage is certainly not one they buy things off of
Not
anymore.
a thing. No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Anyway, they had purchased this washer and dryer from whoever on Craigslist for I don't even know what the hell the cost was, but you never are quite sure what you're getting. That's the only thing I really get. I'm apprehensive about when you buy certain things because if you really don't know the quality of an item, well, that's what they got.
But if it's $100,
they worked for several months this washer and dryer, and then all of a sudden the washer just quit doing things. Well, it was interesting to figure out. It was a water level sensor thing that I figured out. And they're all back and they're all happy. And they think now that I can fucking do anything. Like I'm magical. I fixed a toilet there, the washer. Now I've replumbed the underside of a shampoo bowl where the hair trap is. All these things. So they think I'm magical, and I'm like,
Nope, just got hair out of the hair trap.
no. They actually.
no, but I
that-
feel like you're their official plumber.
I am now.
It sounds like you're busier now than you have been.
ever. My God, hold on to your wig and keys. So, but no, they had. The thing is, when they moved into the salon, people that do hair shouldn't do plumbing. That's, I think, the lesson that they learned is.
Yeah.
And if you buy a washing machine from someone else and it still works, aren't you wondering what they washed that they thought, well, we got to sell
We
got to
get rid of this. Yeah. I
Again,
never thought of it like that.
again, for the right price, I don't care.
But I'm just thinking, like,
For
why would you get
functions,
rid
I'm
of a
in.
functioning piece of whatever that is?
Yeah.
Home accessory? I don't know what the word is.
Appliance
Well,
is
but
what we
there's-
call it.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a big difference between the Woolite cycle and my delicates and the towels at the hair salon. Like the hair salon doesn't need that.
Oh, okay,
There's
that's
more
fair.
hair at the hair salon
Right.
too.
Yeah. Well, they had it all plumbed incorrectly and all.
Right.
But anyway, so there was that, and then other things like, like I said, I'd worked a door shift at the Charlie's, which was kind of fun to do for a while, and then just interesting. Jenny asking the question in the chat room: does Clayton wear a tool belt when he plumbs? No,
That's a fanny pack.
I do not.
Why not?
I did.
If
I
Follow-up
one
question.
more
I've never
motherfucker.
I've never cared for them. I own a couple of them, and I just don't like them. I guess maybe if depending on the job I was in,
Is
like
one of them Marnie's? I'm just lesbian too.
Okay, I'm where are we going with that, Mr. Perkins? No, I usually don't care for it. Like occasionally I'll stick a screwdriver in my back pocket if I'm,
Oh, me too. If I want to feel sporty. Tampon in my purse if I want to feel young. I've got a whole list of things I can carry around.
Atta girl. Yeah.
I had someone.
Just in case a gentleman caller finds a tampon in my purse and thinks, oh, he's younger than I thought.
drink some more.
I had a friend that was helping me move out of an office from years before Q Talk and all that stuff, and I had brought a little, just a little toolbox. It's not. It's more like a little.
Did it say Fisher Price on it?
No, it probably could have. But he said to me, he's like, "Did you have your little toolbox? Do you feel all butch now?" He had to be there, I guess.
Well, no, because clearly it takes a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Starting at a deficit. Oh, I thought Marn had lost some weight. No, Harrison, that's a man. I know, it's hard to believe, but that is, right?
Although I would say that, and Marnie, I think, looks great.
She does. She's doing well.
She really looks great.
She beats a punching bag every, 6 days a week. She goes and does that. And fortunately, she doesn't have to take it on an errand, so I guess that works out well.
They've incorporated violence.
7 years, right? 7
years. Both still alive.
Yeah.
And mom.
Is that what you get for the 7-year anniversary? Violence?
Mm.
Maybe.
You have to look it up on the lesbian chart.
Someday when I make it there, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, it's been running around doing things, finding. There's so many different little projects you can do all the time.
Bring your blow over to my house and I'll pay you.
Fuck.
Hey.
There's a lot going on. Is it the tree of death that's making all the
The
mess?
Ebola tree needs to be blown out.
That fucking thing. God.
I'm offering cash prizes if you get that shit out of my driveway.
The other thing I did this week, Mom, I know you're listening.
Blow it up, blow it down. I don't give a shit where it goes.
Mom, you might find this funny. So filling in my LinkedIn, your job, work from this date to that date, and all that kind of stuff. Well,
I need
typically,
to update mine. I didn't put the business on.
you need to be owner and
Definitely do
operator
that.
of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Right
Hey,
now.
cat! So you need to be on. Anyway, so I called.
So many interpretations
Wasn't
to
ready for
choose
that.
from.
Best.
I called
company ever.
I called the old KSN TV in Joplin, Missouri, with the NBC affiliate I used to work for, because I have no idea really what the run dates were from when I started. So I thought I'll call and see if somebody, I don't know where their HR files are.
I thought you were looking
no
for
idea.
tapes of WKRP in
No,
Cincinnati.
I
I'm
can
like,
find
what?
that. As God is my
I would
witness,
just
I
like
thought
that.
turkeys could fly. So anywho, I called back there, and the receptionist is the same receptionist that was there. Her name's Robin. She was there when I worked there, and I said, "This is going to be a." She answered the phone. I knew it was her voice, and I said, "Well, this is going to be an odd question. I worked during the early '90s. I'm trying to find out dates of employment, blah blah blah." And she goes, "Well, I'm pretty sure I know you," and I'm like, "Okay." And I said, "This is Clayton McKee," and she goes, "Oh my God, yes, I remember you. You work Master Control." I'm like, "Yes, you're 100% right. I did." Well, anyway, I posted that on Facebook that I had called them, and my cousin in Missouri immediately thought that I was looking for a new job in my hometown and got all excited and texted me. And then his wife texted me. I'm like, no, I don't. It does look like that. The post made it look exactly like that's what I was trying to do. Kind of funny. But anywho, that's it. Just updating those kind of things. I made some changes to my resume again, updated some stuff. Still got irons in the fire, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do.
You know how some things just elude me?
Yes, a lot of things do.
A lot of things. I did not understand that social thing, whatever you just described. I thought it was called
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. I did not know what they were going for.
It's like an online.
It's
resume.
a networking, yeah, online resume networking
But I thought it
for
was called
jobs.
LinkedIn.
Oh,
Oh.
Like, I did not get it.
okay,
I signed up for it, and somebody found me on it, and I'm like, I don't know what this is for.
okay. Why did you
Sometimes
sign
it's
up for it?
useful.
I don't know.
Because you got an
Why do I
invite.
do a lot of things? I don't know.
Okay,
Like, I'm probably going to sign up for Instagram. I don't know why.
okay. Oh, I use it for stalking.
Oh, good use.
That seems fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, speaking of stalking.
Snapchat gets you out the same place.
Speaking of stalking, as I was doing the door shift at Charlie's, monitoring people for exit only, making sure they didn't take any beverages outside.
Fine work.
A guy walks up to me and he mentions some name of some guy that I don't know who it is. He goes, "He's a YouTuber. Like, okay. I said, "So am I." So what the fuck does that mean? He goes, "Well, do you know him? He was here. He was dancing. He does this blah blah." He just went on and on about this person. And I'm like, "Is he your friend? Like, who? Why are you so worried about this person and who and where he is?" And he goes, "Oh, I just saw him. I've never met him. I want to say hi to him." I'm like, "Oh, you're stalking. That's what you're doing." And he kind of looked at me and I says, "This is how you start." I said, later on, somebody will take you under their wing and show you exactly how to stalk properly. Like you're a baby stalker. So hopefully someday somebody will teach him because it's not going to be my job.
I mean, I do offer an advanced course, but there's a fee.
Sure, there should be.
If I release those secrets,
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can create a whole company page on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
course you can.
totally.
I'm doing it right now.
Hey, cat!
I just did. Welcome to your company page. We look forward to helping you get started.
It's a shame that Mary Tyler Moore already used that because you could have a little, hey, cat. You know, like
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
MTM.
Cute.
oh, okay.
Cute.
These are all just, I'm spitballing. That's what I do.
Sure,
We're just working this
sure.
out, figuring this
Yep.
out.
I'm dodging.
Turns out there are a couple of them.
Trying not to get hit by the spitball.
Try not to be involved at all. Well, Nina, I like your full support of LinkedIn. Thank you for putting that in the chat room. I fucking hate LinkedIn. Well, there you go.
Here's what I love about LinkedIn. That I just add ridiculous shit. Like if I ever tried to use it to get an actual real world job, it would never happen.
Is that what it's for?
Yeah,
Yes.
people use it
Yeah.
for that.
To get a job?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's an online resume networking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly
Service.
what
I'm
it
going
is.
through the
Oh,
process
I did not
right
use
now.
that correctly.
So you can then network and people can find other people in their
So
field.
I've added accomplishments such
So
as
professional bottom
Well, what are
probably
you?
didn't.
right.
Didn't-
Probably didn't go over well. Neither
website.
neither did
It's called Get It In.
part-time sarcasm contributor
Oh.
and weather girl,
Right.
Yeah,
right.
former
which is
Joyce
which is my
DeWitt impersonator.
position here at the show with Clayton McKee.
When there was a green screen.
Oh, God. I forgot about his stint as Joyce DeWitt. I forgot about that. Just from... It's,
I forgot that I went out and dragging a cat collar. Hey, cat!
on purpose.
You're welcome.
On purpose.
I accessorized with pet store shit.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, really, it's lovely. Show that picture.
don't
I've
think-
never seen you make a
from-
finer choice, honestly. That's,
Do I have that picture?
I hope so. It was the bio for this
Right, but
show
I
for
don't-
like
but-
years and years.
No, it is,
Oh,
but I
that
don't-
one from the website.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, can I tell you a short story while you look it up?
Why not?
sure.
So, I did a lot of theater in the high school and a little bit in the college. And the first time I did a show, they told me I had to write a bio.
Like
And
you
I
do.
was like, I'm like 14, 15 years old. I've never done anything. Like I did something at church once that I don't think counted as anything. But I was like, I don't know what do you rate in these
At
things?
that early?
And then I read someone else's and it was like filled with all kinds of grammatical errors. So I'm like, well, no one reads these or proofreads
Right.
them.
Right.
So I wrote mine as like the bio to Carla from Cheers.
Oh.
That I was a waitress with 5 kids married to a
Oh.
hockey player and all this shit. And I put it in, and it turns out that the person that did the typesetting didn't read them, the director didn't read them, and my parents who saw the show, no one read it and commented on it. So for all the rest of the years that I did shows, it turns out no one but me reads the bios in any kind of
in
like
the playbill.
yeah, whatever the high school version is. So at one point, I changed mine to be the story of Moneypenny from James Bond, and made about lusting after an international spy that had a 007 rating and all this stuff. And a friend of mine brought one of her friends from a different high school, and it turns out at one point there was 2 high schools in Niagara Falls. Brought this gay boy over, and we had a little poke and tickle based on the fact that he thought my bio was like, he read the bio because he knew he was coming to meet me, and he's like, your entire bio was about being Miss Moneypenny. He's like, you didn't make yourself the spy or the villain or the hot girl. You made yourself the secretary. And then we had sex. But he was like, that's so
A logical
random.
end game.
Yeah.
Here's the picture Al's talking about with him in a duck. Oh, wait. I don't want to- yeah, headlines. Al's been abducted.
So
So there you are.
and that is actually a cat collar from the pet store. Somebody made me go to a pet store, and I bought that. And they're like, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, I'll probably wear it during the show somewhere. And I found a costume that it went with. So they let me do the bio for the show, so I made myself Joyce DeWitt and what's her name from Alice?
That's funny.
Oh, what's her name from Alice from Alice?
Linda Lavin?
Linda Lavin.
Oh, okay.
Because I started as Joyce DeWitt as a teenager, and then I followed my dreams of
You were
working in a
eventually
restaurant in
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Right.
So, just funny that I did the same thing all those years later of like, well, I'm not going to do a serious bio. What the hell would that say? So, there you go. But the Miss Moneypenny got me laid at 18 years old.
I think it's fair that nobody proofread any of the bios that you wrote because that's just dangerous.
Like, no one ever mentioned it. Like, the director of the theater program for all those years, anyone who was a director of a show, not one person ever came up and said, can you write a real bio? And my parents, who were nice enough to see every show I was in, never commented on, what the fuck was that bio?
Right.
It was like that yearbook photo you guys commented on from a couple of years ago, the one that had things hanging out that shouldn't have been, and it made it through the whole process.
Oh, yeah. Because no one's
It
reading
was
them.
a story. It was a headline.
I'm sure it was, but I just don't remember it.
Right,
Years
right,
ago.
yeah.
It was funny.
But it's funny when you realize that no one's paying attention to what you can get away with.
Oh, 100%.
Like burping on air.
With this entire administration. Was that what you just did?
Yeah,
You
really
burped on
loud.
it? I heard it, but I didn't look at you because I don't want to make eye contact right now because I'm afraid that if I do. What?
Okay.
I can't. I'm going back to writing my company bio.
How's that working out so far? What do you got so far?
So far, good.
Yeah. That's it. One word, good. Company, good.
Kat formerly worked in a restaurant in Phoenix as Linda Levin's sidekick.
I
And
should do
after
that.
many people kissed her grits.
Oh, Florence Jean Castleberry. That's who you are. Polly Holiday. My God, you're going to be...
I still don't understand the Sylvester Stallone with a concussion. She's tried that twice, and I'm not catching it.
Amina?
She means the picture of me,
Explain.
but I don't know. I don't, because Sylvester Stallone never had an afro, like, and a cat collar, so I don't really
It's
get.
interesting, right? I don't get the parallel. Maybe
yeah.
it's the
Can we
nose.
prove
Maybe
that?
it's the nose.
It could be.
It could be the nose.
Could be the nose.
Let's go back to
I mean,
the-
I do look mildly concussed, but not like Sylvester
Can we
Stallone.
bring up a Stallone picture now?
The only one I got is this one.
The-
It's the only other one I got. The only
Same. I see it. Same.
Focus on the days when my teeth
Same
were that
exact.
white. That's the amazing part of that photo is how white my teeth used to be
Yes.
before all the coffee and red wine got to me.
Oh.
All right, don't do obsessions. Move on.
Oh, I forgot we're
Somebody's
doing.
gotta keep this
Are we
train
doing upset?
moving.
We are doing.
I got something, yeah.
Oh, horse shit! I gotta redo
This
like.
show on the road. I have a brand new one right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you really? Is it called Booze? B-O-Z-Z? Booze. That's my friend.
Maybe.
Whatever. Figure this out. Here we go.
Obsession. Are you obsessed? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you find yourself constantly making references only to be met with blank stares? Obsession. This segment is for you. Obsession. Whether it's musicals, mowers, Motown, Subarus, or Sondheim, it's time to share your obsession. Obsession. With the show with Clayton McKee.
So 2 things.
No, that's later.
Yeah.
Which I think we're gonna change the name of that segment to "Hey Cat."
Okay, I'm in.
All right. I'll work on a liner.
Yeah, we'll work on it. So, first of all, the brand new obsession is going to be trying to find other famous company taglines to steal and add to mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
You know, for example, I just stumbled across, and by stumbled across, I mean Googled, and it was the first result.
Like you do.
That's
Right. This article says it is 30 of the best advertising slogans from companies.
Okay.
So I'm going to try them all out.
Where's the
Okay.
beef?
Right. Number 1 is McDonald's. I'm loving it. So, hey, Cat, I'm loving it.
Oh.
Maybe.
No,
You gotta do the Safeway
We're
one.
going to skip KFC. We're going to go to Kit Kat's too obvious. No.
break you off a piece of that Kit Kat.
Oh, no, have it your way. Burger King.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice, very nice. Snap Crackle Pop doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Frosted Flakes though, they're great.
Yep.
Hey Cat,
They're
great.
What about
Right.
the Safeway? Safeway Albertsons? It's just better.
Hey Cat, it's just
It's just
better.
better.
Hey Cat.
How about Hey Cat? I hope it gets better.
Sounds like some sort of cream.
Cry for help. Yeah.
Sounds like some sort of ointment.
It won't
Okay.
itch for much longer. Is that one of them?
Where's all my booze?
How about Hey Cat? It keeps going and going
Oh.
and going. Right, I can steal the Energizer logo. So we're gonna obsess about that later. But the real one that I had that I wanted to talk about that's very important
Okay.
is the United States Postal Service.
No, they are.
USPS.
USPS.com. here's my issue. This
Okay.
is a rant more than an obsession.
Okay.
But it's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I, like many people, order a lot of things online. I buy a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things from eBay. I buy a lot of things from Amazon. Everything comes UPS or USPS. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a fuck how they ship it. It comes to my house and it's very convenient.
I don't care how you get here.
Right.
Just get,
Get here.
Just
if you
get here if
can.
you can.
Ooh,
Exactly.
Olita Adams should be their spokesperson. You can bring it by railway, trailway,
It's a missed opportunity.
get a
right
camel. I don't care. Come
Right.
on.
Um,
I don't care how you get here.
I'm gonna bring that up. Olita.
So
there. Arab man.
I order an item on the internet. I select the 2-day shipping, as is my right as an Amazon Prime member, as is my constitutional God-given rights.
Exactly. Jesus
Perfectly
wrote that line.
acceptable.
That $75 a year gives me a lot of power. And so it was scheduled to be delivered on a Saturday. I said, "Oh, that's great. I'll be home all day. That'll be a lovely thing to do in the afternoon."
You
before I
probably
have to go to
needed it
work."
on a Saturday.
Oh, I needed it probably
Yeah.
2 days before I ordered it, but
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm patient. So
And a
Saturday,
procrastinator occasionally.
occasionally.
Yeah.
So Saturday comes and goes, and I ended up having to leave for work early. So the thing didn't come before I left for work. I thought, oh, no problem. It'll be there when I get to it. I'll be able to mess around with it on Sunday. No, it's not there on Sunday. So I log on to Amazon. I think, well, what in the world has happened? And the United States Postal Service has updated the tracking status and entered a code that says could not get to the front door, possibly due to a gate code. I said, you motherfuckers, I live on a busy, I live literally on Thunderbird
street.
Road. Right. You can see my door. There's no obstruction, no nothing. So I'm very upset about this. So I finally...
I share your pain. I trust
Right.
me. I understand.
So I finally go to the post office today. I go through their online, or their phone automated bullshit.
Down me package, yeah.
Right. Right.
Ooh.
Because they say, well, if there was an issue, they will try to redeliver the next business day, which would have been Monday. No tracking updates. So I had to go to the post office for something else anyway. So I go and I mail my package, and then I give the lady the tracking number. I said, listen, is this here? Because here's what's happened, and it's fucking bullshit that they said they couldn't get to my front door, because literally anyone, the Jehovah's Witnesses, can get to my front
Yeah.
door. So can you.
Yeah.
And I know it's a big package, and you fuckers are just too lazy to carry it to the door, but you could have knocked on the door. I'd have come and fucking got it.
Just tried.
She looks at me. She says, oh, yeah, they do that sometimes when it's too heavy and they don't want to carry it.
Whoa!
Are you kidding? This is a
Wow.
known issue? I'm very upset.
Well, then the post office shouldn't accept it. They should let OnTrack or what other services they've got,
UPS or whatever.
right,
yeah.
to take them if they
Right.
can't lift to over whatever.
And I always
Agree.
say,
I agree. If that's not the correct way to ship it, then create your guidelines and don't allow...
Right. Here's your weight cap.
Right.
yeah.
Totally okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
There are other companies that you can ship through.
And my thought is, tell me a lie I can like myself. Don't say there was something that kept
Yeah,
you from my
some-
front door.
Right. Because that's
Bullshit.
ridiculous. And I was home all damn day.
Yeah.
Right.
Beep the horn from
You're-
outside.
you're
I'll
Right.
go get
I'll
for
it.
it.
come
Right.
out with a
Yeah.
dolly and wheel that son of a bitch and say,
Totally
how,
would have.
how heavy was the package, if I may ask?
I don't know. It's like 50 pounds. It's pretty
Okay.
heavy.
All right.
I mean, I wasn't bringing that to your door, but somebody might have.
I wasn't asking you to.
And I feel like the USPS should have some
Uspis.
sort of hand truck, right?
This is why
Isn't
though.
that the man name for
yeah.
Dolly?
Yes.
And truck, yes.
Yeah.
See?
What were you going to interject?
I was just gonna say I think this is why that Amazon is trying to do more. Although they're not terribly successful at it yet, they're trying to do more deliveries through their own little Amazon delivery
I
service.
love
think
the
of
little
that.
Amazon van guys. No,
works,
they are
works fairly
too
well.
sweet.
But
Sometimes-
that drone, I mean, that's heavy for a drone.
You know
Well,
the
they
drone's not
will,
going to do
yeah.
this.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So that'd be like a bomb dropped on your house.
But I think the first step to solving this problem is not letting your mail carriers fucking lie and
Right.
just say we couldn't get to the
Agreed.
door. I guarantee it
Agreed.
wasn't even on the truck on Saturday. Like,
Do
they didn't
rain
even try.
or sleet or 50-pound packages.
Oh, you're probably right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What does it
Seriously.
say across that building again?
Right. They probably
Yeah.
never loaded it
Bring
on their
us your
damn truck.
tired
They entered the
masses
code.
Yeah.
yearning to be free.
Yearning to breathe free,
Yes.
breathe free, breathe
I think
free.
it's
40 pounds or
bullshit.
less.
So that's my obsession, is being mad at
Okay.
the post office.
I think that's fair.
And
That's
I'm going to
good.
write to the Postmaster General.
Okay.
I am.
Go right to the top.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, I feel like you've been itching and scratching to get to this segment. So
Yeah, it's,
Go.
She's got a cream.
it's been a it's
Does
been
it
a,
cre-
it's
it get-
it's
it
been a
gets
thing.
better.
So I do actually have two things.
That's later. No. That's
no,
later.
all right. Well, all right. I sort of have a closet obsession with this show. And two, here's why.
I don't think it's a closet.
Which show?
The show with Clayton McKee.
apparently this one.
As not this episode necessarily, because
Thank
it just
God.
got started. But your show. I want to admit it. And the other thing I'll say also is, as it turns out,
I'm gonna need a Silkwood shower, I think, when I'm done with this.
as it turns out, your show has, as I've been a fan for a while. Did you guys know that you have subliminal messages going on?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well maybe not these.
We program those.
Well,
in.
but no, but like Al, he's our subliminal don't drink.
Um,
This is the example of why
This is-
not to drink.
This is
It's
this
a
is
strong warning.
this might be slightly different, but
Oh.
but go with it here. So
You got a gig. You got a little shtick you're gonna do. Okay.
yeah, I get a little thing, but it's okay. This one's fun. I
Alright.
think you'll enjoy this one.
Does it involve batons?
No, we're done with the batons for now. We'll get something else.
All right.
So a couple years ago, I had changed jobs, and when you're doing YouTube videos and you're blogging, it's nice to have something on in the background. You're taking like photos of products and you're writing stories. So I had tuned into you guys after not being a listener for a while. It's when I figured out that Kat became a permanent member of the show in 2015.
I just refused to leave, is what happened.
Well, yeah, and that Katie had left.
Smart move.
I didn't
Well,
realize that.
actually, technically, she actually was coming in as a fifth person.
Right. I remember the artwork.
First, I was
and all those
interim,
things.
and then there was a number 5.
Right, and
Right.
that was the whole reason that mic
That
got put
microphone
in.
is there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just put it on, put the stream on in the background, and I was like, wow, not that Katie or Buddy weren't great, but I was like, it's great. And again, Marnie appears to not be on the show very often. So I would, I
She's here every week, honestly.
yeah, sometimes later.
But
whatever.
is she?
But anyways, and Marnie, I wanted to kind of do this while you're here, but it was great to see you, and I hope you're listening back or watching or
I
whatnot.
like your optimism.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, so the stream was on, and I kept thinking, like, why do I keep hearing the same episodes over and over again? Because obviously they repeat on the the stream. And
Repeat 24/7 for your
yeah,
irritation. That's how
yeah.
it says it online.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I started hearing these odd messages, and and they were like kind of like cries for help. You guys were requesting that someone take care of something for you. And
That's odd, because we're really can-do people.
Well, that's true, but this was a request that
He's a
that
plumber.
apparently you couldn't fulfill,
I'm Jan Ashford.
and so I kept listening, and I'm like, well, I'm sure they'll take care of this, and I thought, well, I could take care of it for them, but again, we did the transfer, it's done, it's not my show.
Does
Don't
you
interfere.
taking care of it take as long as the story?
Is it more pop?
Trust
Oh,
me,
Pop-Tarts would go really good
almost,
right now.
almost done,
Okay.
almost there.
I hope you fixed it because I don't know what the fuck you're building up to.
Yeah,
don't either.
You're good. I'm very glad about that. Anyways, so I just said, all right, I'll take. Guess you guys went through like additional seasons and didn't take care of it. I said I'll take care of it for them, and hopefully they're not working on it, and it won't be embarrassing. It won't be like, well, you shouldn't have gotten involved. But I like doing nice things for nice people,
It's very nice.
so I thought, all right, we'll take care of this. So let me describe this. And this would be you're trying to have someone take care of something that's historical in nature. Now, the solution, what you were actually wanting someone to take care of for you, can be described as 3 things. Number
Nope,
one.
Only 2 are allowed.
Yeah.
All right, it's 2 plus 1. Okay, we're gonna bonus round. Number 1,
We can't count that high.
it's the impossible dream. Okay,
Dream,
Al's talked about this
impossible
before.
dream.
Spaghetti.
It was Liza with the
Oh,
Z.
wait a minute. This isn't that he even wants to have happen?
Number 2.
Liza with the Z on DVD was the only impossible dream that I can think
Not Lisa with an S.
No.
Number
it's
2
Nuts.
of what this thing that you wanted to have done was that it's a very large waste of time. And 3,
The whole show.
it,
The
ma-
show.
it goes together, right? And it
like
makes
Ramble-Lamba-Ding-Dong.
Yeah.
and this solution makes or creates an emotional response. Okay, now these 3 things I didn't just kind of pull out of the blue sky.
How much free time do you actually have, Joe, at home?
Evidently
You spend
too
a lot.
much.
Oh, God, you're going to pull something else out of a bag.
I always come with all kinds of interesting things.
You watch Marnie
Hey,
too
Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of this hat.
much. Hey, Rocky.
So
Nothing up my sleeve.
the
Breatho.
oh my god,
Is it a gun?
no,
Oh,
it's
gosh,
pretty
I hope
small.
not.
Is it a jackal?
The
Is it a jackal? Is it a jackal?
Pterodactyl.
You have no idea.
I
You
trust
might,
me, I don't.
You know. So the solution
But I
is
have a gun
contained-
underneath this.
The solution is contained in
It's a
this
Pop-Tart.
nice little package.
It's an 8-track tape.
This is a gift also. Just a little token of my own appreciation. Again, it's great that you guys do this. When I transferred Q Talk, I had no idea if you would keep going, keep the name.
Is that dark chocolate? Is that wrapped up dark chocolate?
It could be.
I hope it's not white chocolate.
All right,
Oh,
look,
that's a
we'll,
mean
we'll
trick.
just. So again, thank you. It's wonderful that you guys still do this.
Give him the baton.
I know,
I'll pass it to
I
him
know,
to open it.
I know. And listeners, anyone who's been following me in that crazy hashtag on Facebook, this is the reveal moment.
Oh, Christ on a cross. What is it? Wait, it's hashtag, what is it? MKL
It's a scrambled term. We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
Oh.
Hand it over to the McKee. If you're not watching on video, please
I do
switch
appreciate
over
just the use of my last name only.
The
to
McKee.
the
No.
McKee. If you're not watching the video stream, please switch over now.
It's a cassette
It's an
tape.
audio cassette. Exactly what I thought. Do I need to open it now?
Please do.
Oh, again, if this is a fucking glitter bomb,
Oh.
you will not walk out of this house
Well,
on your own legs.
I think I wrapped it. Yeah, no glitter.
Stop saying glitter bomb.
For
It's
those
just
of
gonna
you,
happen.
oh no, they won't. For those of you that are just listening, it is as stimulating as if you were watching right now. Trust me.
Crinkle the paper closer to the mic.
Yeah.
So Molly Montgomery likes it.
She still listen?
No.
I don't know. Oh, but this is a lovely gold bow. Now,
I eat too much
It's
in
an
there.
oversized bow.
No, it's not.
And I don't.
No,
I truly don't know what the reaction to this is going
I
to be.
Can I put my bow on my?
Oh,
Look at
look
that.
Look at that.
Look at where
Ooh,
art meets function or
You look
something.
at something. I gotta.
Form and
I enjoy a gold bow.
Well, that's. I'm very happy about that.
Oh, it's double wrap for my protection.
That's right.
Why did you do a double wrap?
You'll find out.
Oh,
Oh no.
It's
Glitter
all
bomb.
Jesus fucking Christ!
again.
There's another wrap.
Yeah,
inside.
potentially too much free time.
Oh, it's double wrapped.
You got to get a hobby, Joe. We really
Makes
got
it
to
yeah,
get you a
really
hobby.
I gotta
That
need
makes
a
it
job.
really
Really.
When you moving? When is focus on that, Joe. The fuck is
Well, it's pretty colors.
lots of colors.
Notice the color sequence.
Oh, is it rainbow? Red, yellow, pink, green, purple, orange, blue. I didn't really.
Oh yeah, use all the colors.
Does
Oh,
it?
that's very nice.
Oh, I was supposed to do it one by
Festive?
one. I
Not
didn't do it.
necessarily.
Oh
what
no,
is
it
it?
is a cassette tape.
It is a cassette. It's funny that it is an audio. Oh, I think I know what you. Wow, you do have a lot of free time. That Joe has given me, and I like how you're superimposed coming around my arm there on the side.
Oh, look how-
because
look how cool I look,
with your
too.
with your
Got some aviators on.
your Chips sunglasses
Yeah.
on there. This
That
is the
says
best
summer
of
2016 right there.
This is called the best of season 4. This time it's personal. What's it say? Might not be endorsed by Q Talk America or its affiliates. We have affiliate. Oh, it says it's mixed. Oh, it's a mixtape. It says
Because
it's 84.
you guys love like the whole cassette thing, but open it and figure out what it really is.
Oh my God, it's not a cassette. This is a very cute gift. When you come, it's a USB.
Oh, it's a thumb drive.
It's witchcraft.
No, that's really cute for
Hey,
people
cat.
who are throwbacks.
She's a witch.
For that's really cute for throwback
true.
people who like, oh, I love cassettes, and then it's a jump.
That's a very cute
now,
gift.
this isn't very convenient size wise to just carry around your pocket and stick in when you walk in somewhere. But
Is that a rocket
You
in
need-
your pocket? You just haven't seen me. It's
you
a
need
rocket.
You have bigger pockets.
so on this allegedly is the best of season 4.
That is correct.
That is.
From my perspective, this
Oh.
was something.
Okay,
This
there's
was
that.
this was something that I came
Well,
up with.
that's
I came up.
Charming.
We were entertaining enough to have a best of tape.
I came up with the idea,
I have
Somebody-
a greatest hits package.
and I tried to cancel it several times, and it got the best of me. And you guys kept talking about we need an editor, but we can't afford it, and please isolate that. And I was just like, no, you don't want to
Oh,
start
that's
down this.
very
road.
nice.
You
very
don't want to start
nice.
down this road. The reason it's season 4, it's my favorite number, but you know what? Because Tuesday.
That seems fair.
This
But
time
you know
it's
what?
personal.
Buddy and Early.
Buddy and Ernie, both of them. 2 people,
Buddy.
one elegant
We
solution.
have both kinds of music.
That's very
Buddy.
sweet.
Country and Western.
Buddy and Katie were both on that season, and it's just a
Oh.
great representation of everything. And it's
Oh, Buddy did a guest fill-in.
Sure.
How long was Buddy on this show?
I have no earth idea, honest to God.
episode
3
263.
days and he didn't pay for any of it.
Episode 263 was your 200th. And trust me, unfortunately, I have all these facts like memorized because I've been listening to I've been living in season 4 for the past 2.5 years.
Editing this
Wow.
fucking thing together. Well, that's curious. Well, I'm curious to get really wasted and listen to that.
That's very
I
fun.
would be
Thank you
honored.
so much.
It's
It's very
cute.
Halfway there.
thoughtful.
At some point during the show, if you want to play the first couple minutes, I think the audience would would find it
It's a
funny.
good reason for us to go to the bathroom.
And if
Well,
you
we're going to want to listen to and share it.
Dance
Share
break,
along.
dance break.
and
dance
if you
break.
decide to actually put it as part of your actual releases, I would be honored.
My
Oh,
release.
we could,
oh,
we
it-
could sell that
oh,
shit.
so what you're saying
this is formatted to.
I could upload it right to the website, and it could be.
It's designed to be actually a structured show with Clayton McKee. It's gold. It's gold.
Now, and how long is this best of?
It's
7 hours.
Jesus Christ.
It is. It's
7.5 fucking
64.
hours.
No, it's split to 3 different files, just like you do right now. But it's actually less than 4 hours. It's between 3.5 and 4 hours.
Now, and did you break it up? Is it like the best of headlines, the best of?
This is designed to be like
What-
your show, headlines and what you've been up to,
It's
and
more entertaining.
hashtags, and it's. You guys said you could be really funny, even funnier, if you had an editor. Well,
Oh, can I see that for a
accidentally
second?
It would be
volunteered.
really funny if we actually had a producer, not just edit this shit. How about we do a production? What are you doing? Oh, look.
Showing the people at home.
Hey, look at this. Oh, look at that.
Here it comes. That's fun.
That's
well,
cute.
That is very thoughtful.
That is very thoughtful and time consuming because I know that takes a long
Been
fucking
a
time.
long time.
You
But
really
know,
ought to get a hobby.
I know, yeah.
My gosh,
Or a
look at it.
boyfriend
Oh,
or
and
something.
but the cassette. I think it's so cute that it looks like a cassette.
Found it on Amazon, and I said, "That's
And then,
how I'm doing
then
it."
show the underside of it, Kat, where the little USB is, and it's tucked in there. The little USB just kind of pops out. That's very cute.
Just darling.
So
It
that,
really is.
By the way, that hashtag, if you unscramble the letters, it is the first letters of Best of the Show with Clayton McKee season 4. If you
Oh,
if you
dear God.
re-scramble it,
And I thought for sure this was
So
going
wait,
to
it's a jumble and an anagram? Listen.
and a cassette.
Listen, Dr.
a
Lecter, that's a
casingle.
lot. It's like a single.
I love it. I have Bat Dance on Casingle.
that
I
actually
think I did too.
Huh?
that you talked about Bat Dance during your Prince tribute, and that was part of the reason I was like, they love this whole single cassette thing, and that was part of the
Is
inspiration.
Bat Dance part of this?
Your Prince, remember, this is a best of, so everything from season 4 was so much.
I
So
want-
long. It was almost a year.
Apparently, it was 2 years ago.
It's-
What season are we in now?
We're about to
Six.
start season 7.
Is this
Yeah.
season 7?
Yeah.
Okay. We're still doing 6.
Well, so my obsession, because we'll
I'm
never get
done.
out of here.
Does it involve a
But thank
cassette
you.
player?
No, my obsession.
Joe,
was the-
thank you. That's
thank
very
you. That's
thoughtful of you.
very
That's very
sweet. That was
thoughtful.
very
Absolutely.
thoughtful.
Never would have pulled that out of my ass in 100 years.
Is the fact that I was watching TV at the lucky moment yesterday when
Oh, I know exactly where you're going.
we were at the Michael Cohen trial, where for some reason
I'm sharing your obsession with you.
Trump's lawyers decided over the weekend that they needed to go to court to get an injunction or an appeal in to block the identity of the third client
Uh-huh.
of Michael Cohen, the first one being Trump, who they paid off a porn star and a playmate,
Right?
hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the second one was a donor to the RNC, a mega donor to the RNC, who paid his,
His
mistress to have an abortion.
for 1.6 million.
And there was a third person, and the whole point to this thing was to keep the identity of the third person secret, which means it had to be something really awful based on the first 2 reasons that anyone used this guy, who's not really a lawyer. And I just happened to be enjoying, and was it Katie Tour? Who was on at that time?
It was Katie Tour, right? She
Katie
was on
Tour.
her hour.
And just the moment when they're like, oh, wait, we just found out who the third client
Well, their client is.
It's Sean Hannity. And the cameraman, everybody in the studio went, huh?
Yeah. Like, oh, it
And
was.
then they cut to the reporter, man on the street,
Right.
who ran 12 stories down. He was on the 12th floor
Oh
of
my-
the
courthouse.
extension. Ran down, and he's like, now there's a chance that there's another Sean Hannity in the world, and that's who we're talking about. But it seems really unlikely.
Unlikely,
Right.
right.
But for the first couple seconds, they honestly couldn't say for certain. We're not talking about
Across the street,
Fox
Sean Hannity, right?
News guy.
Right.
We're not talking about the worst human in the world on television.
So you have never seen my fat little fingers move so fast to type in 1043 and get to Fox News to make sure that I had, what's the gay guy, Shepard?
Oh yeah, Sam.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever, Shepard. Yeah.
Yeah, Shepard. So I guess the elephant in the room is that did they really say Sean Hannity? And it was just hysterical to have Shepard be like, what?
Is that right?
And then be like, I guess we're going to go to commercial and we're going to find out if
So
they don't mean, and you could see him look to his EP and go, not
not
Sean
us.
Hannity. And he goes, and I guess we'll address the elephant in the room when we come. I was like, this is the greatest moment of television
Oh,
ever.
everybody was gasping and editing themselves.
Shepard Smith. Oh my God.
Shepard
It
Smith.
was just fun.
It was hilarious. I was sitting at my desk doing online stuff to my LinkedIn account, all that shit, and I had it on in the other room, and I could just hear everybody, like the gasps everywhere. And what I put on Facebook was, everybody had to edit themselves from just saying, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And you could see them all forming the word in their mouth, like, "No, we've been punked." Like,
Right. This is a bullshit.
this,
right.
like, we're not on air. Like,
Right.
this just happened off
This
air.
can't be true.
Right. No. It was priceless, and it still has been all day long.
I need to watch this.
Now
Obviously.
they've got it, and I came to the production meeting with you two, and I didn't see, but the headlines that I was seeing as I was leaving earlier was, now they've got him tied to 2 or 3 more lawyers connected.
Of Trump's, including
Yes.
one for Russia.
Oh.
The one for Russia, because remember, he saw somebody on Fox TV. If you're not paying attention to the Russia story, I don't know what you're watching, because it's delightful television, and they're
You couldn't write this shit. You
They're-
just can't.
they're stroking
You
themselves
could,
off
but you'd
over
never
it.
get it on air.
No,
Right,
you'd never
true.
get on there. So he fired his main lawyer because, well, he didn't fire his main
who?
lawyer. Trump
Thank you.
was watching. I know a lot of the danger of pronouns. So the orange dumpster fire is sitting on the can watching Fox and Friends, and sees this fat fuck and his wife, and he hires them based on their appearance. I don't know if it was on Fox and Friends, but somewhere on the networks of Fox, he finds this fat fuck and his wife, and he hires them.
Right.
In the time from saying, I want to hire them, to them making it to the White House, his main Russia lawyer resigned.
Right.
Quit. Right.
And said,
Dowd. Was it?
no.
Yeah.
Dowd.
Yeah, Dowd.
John
Was
Dowd.
like, no. No.
Like, you can't do
This
that.
is
You
a
won't listen to
serious
me.
investigation.
Right.
You just hired this. So they came to the White House, the fat fuck and his wife, and Trump saw them in person and was like,
Oh, no.
what the fuck is this? So he fired them while they were walking in the door. Which, could you imagine that fat fuck thinks I'm a fat fuck? Like,
Right. You're not classy enough for me.
So it turns out one of these two, whether it was fat fuck,
The wife.
no, fat fuck number 1 is Trump. So fat fuck number 2 is the lawyer. That lawyer is Sean Hannity's lawyer.
The
too.
wife. The wife
Oh,
is.
the wife
The
is.
wife is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And she's a fucking train wreck. Like, she's not a fat fuck, but she just looks like she was on an episode of Cops, and this is her mugshot. Like, her picture, her serious LinkedIn picture looks like 4 joints and a crack pipe later. Me and my tube top went to the fair. And you're like, what the fuck?
Because where else would you wear your tube top?
Oh, my God. It's Who My Baby Daddy night at
Yeah,
the
but
law
yeah,
firm.
exactly. Guns and...
So I just listened to today, the New York Times puts out a podcast. It's just a 20 or 30-minute podcast called The Daily. And today's episode was on Michael Cohen, and it's great.
Yeah.
I recommend it if you have a gap in your podcast listening schedule. Look it up.
Fill it in with anything about Michael Cohen.
Fill it in with The Daily, because they've done some really good stuff, and they do it in a really succinct way. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it is, and the Michael Cohen was. And it's so funny because increasingly, everything I listen to is talking about anyone related to Trump in mob terms.
Right.
Like this podcast called Michael Cohen, the consigliere.
The fixer. And the best part is the bald guy, Ari Vichy, what's his name?
Oh, Ali Velshi.
Yeah. So he's on there, and he says, because I think he was the next hour. So
He was. He followed Katie Tur.
So he says it seems kind of suspicious to have a journalist have this guy as a lawyer, and he goes, and I'm gonna die on Twitter in about 5 minutes because I just called one guy a lawyer and the other one a journalist. And when they said he has 3 clients, one pays off hookers and people who've had abortions, and the other one, none of them are doing anything official but just spreading shit all over the earth.
Well, I think Ali Velshi is also when he came on air, he said he made a comment, something of regards to that, and he goes, "Oh, let me guess. All of a sudden, he's going to be a commentator and not
Yeah.
a journalist, so he didn't have to disclose.
And he changed his story 3 times. He
Sure.
never used him for anything. And then somebody
Yeah.
later on the night, I think it was when we got to the 11th hour with Brian
Brian
Williams, because you weren't leaving your TV at this
Oh,
point, because
no.
why would you?
No.
When the guy was like, he says he used him for real estate advice.
he's not a
He's
not,
barely a lawyer.
right.
What
He's not,
the
and he's
fuck
not
is
a
he-
real estate lawyer at
He
all.
goes, what does he want to know? Which black people to kick out?
Maybe.
Oh my god!
And
It's
I was just
fantastic.
like, okay, you guys have lost all journalism credibility because no one could take the story seriously. And when it got down to the third time that Hannity described why he needed him and that it was for real estate advice, the guy on the 11th hour was just exhausted.
yeah.
And it was just like, to find out how to be more racist? Like, what would you need this guy for?
Yeah, I'm sure tonight when I go in and watch everything else, it's going to be great because they've had 24 hours now to absorb this.
Oh my god.
And it's just more. But then the more that's
What is
bubbling up
Rachel
about
gonna
it.
say?
Oh, I don't know what he'll
Oh,
say.
she was delightful last night. Listen to her
Was she?
Oh, it
podcast
was.
from last night. She was good.
Yeah,
She was good. But there really was like,
the gasp was. Well, they also said that whoever was in the courtroom at the time, he said, majority of the courtroom was filled with all journalists. Like you've got like the 4 or
because they
5
were in
lawyers.
the overflow.
Right, so they got the journalists. You know, Stormy Daniels is there just for effect or whatever. But most everybody else, he said literally, he said every other seat is a journalist. And he goes, they were all really trying to keep from laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't be serious with this. There's no way this is
And-
legit. Oh
And,
my God.
all the because I went through like all 3 channels because I wanted to see what CNN had to say, and they described it like there's the main courtroom where almost always in the whatever it is SDNY, the Southern District of New York, they all go in there. There's a couple of them that are field reporters that's their beat, and there's usually plenty of room. Like they spread out, they have all their stuff, and they knew when they got there on Monday that they had to use the overflow. So like MSNBC, they were all on the 12th floor. Like they couldn't see. They could see the closed circuit TV of
gotcha.
the main players, but they weren't in the main courtroom.
Right.
So that's why they were upstairs trying not to laugh because they have to follow the same decorum, even though they're nowhere near what's
Okay.
going on.
Got it.
But because this envelope kept getting passed, like we have it in a sealed envelope, and this guy stood up, they had agreed that the judge could find out who it was. Oh, this was the best part.
I heard the whole story.
So the attorney for Michael Cohen says, how about I put it in a sealed envelope, pass it to you, that way you know. Well, then a lawyer stands up, interrupts the proceedings, and says, I represent the press and the people of the United States. I'm here to maintain that
freedom of information
freedom
or
of
whatever.
information gets passed, and that if this is something that pertains to our government, this can't be held under lock and key.
Sure.
This needs to be done. And so he did a whole thing about like the state versus West Virginia
Right.
or Virginia.
Cited lots of stuff.
He cited cases, and she listened to it and was like, yeah, I guess you got to read it out loud. And they stood up and read the name, and like all this build up for like, who is it?
Right.
Like you're thinking like, is it McConnell from,
That's
is
good
it
theater.
Paul Ryan?
Is it Paul
like,
Ryan, right, 'cause
like
he's
who
leaving,
is it?
right.
Who paid off hookers? And then, of course,
Everyone.
the first thing they find is Hannity surrounded by playmates from that 1990 picture with him and the playmates.
Oh my god.
And they're like, there's no reason. If he only used him in phone calls, there is absolutely nothing that he should have written down. So what I learned yesterday from the TV and the internet was like, let's say you were a lawyer. And
Oh,
I say to
I'm gonna put it on my LinkedIn.
Hey,
do.
add it right now.
she's now a lawyer. And I say to you, I need to ask you a legal question.
Okay.
There is an immediate, the money doesn't have to change hands. There is an immediate attorney-client privilege that goes on the minute I say I need legal advice. I don't have to pay you. There's that whole thing from TV where I have to give you $1. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So if he was just calling for advice about real estate, nothing should be written down. It'd be like, well, don't buy that apartment complex or sell that apartment
Right.
complex, or, you're probably going to get in trouble. There's some legal ramifications with you owning that building. You would never write that down. That would just be, and that's what Hannity said at first. But if that's what it was,
I'm pretty sure Hannity said it first. Michael who?
right. Oh, he's my friend. So that's why there has to be some kind of an invoice or something written down specific that he wanted advice on, or they would never have his name
Right.
as part of it. Like but it does qualify. That would qualify as attorney-client privilege.
However,
but it wouldn't be written down where the government would see it on paper unless he records everything, which makes it even better.
Right.
Because they say Michael Cohen records everything.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Amazing.
hooker stuff's on tape.
amazing.
Because
However-
because I need to make sure. I know Arizona actually is, as long as one of the parties in the room is aware of the recording, it's legal.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what it is in New York.
Is this being recorded?
100%. But you all know it. But yeah, that's the
didn't
way.
know. I had
But
no
that's the
idea.
way it is in Arizona. Now, in other states and other jurisdictions, both parties have to be aware that the
And
recording
I think
is happening.
I found out yesterday that in New York it's only one person.
It's okay,
has
so
to
it is
look.
one.
But and now his big claim for innocence, Michael Cohen, is that he'd never been to Prague in his life, and here's my passport. Well, that only holds up to Fox News viewers, because the rest of us that have been to Europe knows that there's
Understand.
something called the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I flew into Spain, but went to Italy and France. My passport got stamped for
In Spain.
Spain.
not
Right.
the other countries. So he went to Germany, walked over to Prague. It's the European Union. They don't stamp it.
Right.
So all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you can hold that up all you want to. The first country you enter in the European Union, you get stamped. The rest of the time, you can train planes and automobile around the whole fucking thing.
Right.
You're in the European Union. And like, oh, he's going down.
And
like
apparently
a
there
house
is,
fire.
there's somehow they've traced him to Prague, like in an email or whatever it was.
Oh,
Well, and this
a
is an
camera
important
at the border.
This is an important point, because your attorney-client privilege goes away 100% when your attorney is doing crimes for you.
100%.
Right, oh, 100%.
Gone.
Right.
And then everything you've ever dealt with and everything you've ever told that lawyer is
It's like a confession.
fair
If
game.
you
Right.
confess
Yeah.
to like harming a child, and that priest has to leave the booth and go tell somebody you just murdered somebody, you just harmed somebody, like the confessional, you can't confess
Right.
a crime. You have to go report.
Have you also noticed that Katie Tour is not comfortable with the taint team?
Oh,
She wants
no
to call
one is.
it's the filter team. She and everybody who's come on her show today made sure to say that, because she doesn't like the taint team.
Oh, it's hysterical.
I think it's hilarious that you're calling it the taint. I just think it's hilarious.
But they mean it in like, we don't want to taint with
No,
the
I
same
understand
brush,
what they
not that
mean.
taint your
I
balls
get
to
it,
taint
but
your ass.
right?
Like,
No, but I just think it's fair that Katie Tour is the first one that I've heard be like, I just hate that. We're just gonna call it the filter team.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny about that. She did
because
that.
I needed some context. The first 8 or 9 times I heard taint, I'm like, somebody's
Oh, no.
going to need to put that in
I
context.
know, I
for
got it
me.
100%. My friend Scott Tickler posted at 1:22 yesterday afternoon, the second it came out, he posted this in 4 lines, the exact same thing. Please let it be a rent boy or an interracial love child. Please let it be a rent boy or an interracial love child. Because that would just be awesome if Hannity is trying to shut up.
And all I kept thinking was dead hooker, dead hooker, dead hooker.
Wow.
It is amazing. Like every time they come on the air, they're like, well, it's just another news day, and here's a clown car. Here's a midget in a bikini. Like they just come online. It's amazing what they're going through.
Yeah, Christ Lord.
I'm very, very curious to see what's going on for the rest of today. And then my whole news day was crazy too, because there was a car chase in Phoenix that the guy was going 100 miles an hour
What?
after
Really? Wow.
two carjackings, and then he barricaded himself in the attic of a house over on the west side of town. There was a lot going on. Very busy day.
Something happened around Thomas and like 11th Avenue yesterday, because like the whole area was like cordoned off by police. I never looked it up. But
That
was
I
like-
don't know, but
I was
today
like,
it
what the
was
heck's going on?
today a guy was doing 100 miles an hour from 16th Street to 19th Avenue on Thomas all the way across.
Oh, it's 17th Avenue and whatever the Highland is. That's not Highland, but it's north of Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Somebody was trying to like fuck with somebody in the house, and they drove their Chevy pickup
Oh.
right through the front of the house and like destroyed it, and then like backed up to go get them. And the cops
Oh.
were there, and it was all cordoned off. So
Oh,
That's very exciting.
yeah, it was.
by the Costco or something.
I turned my bike around.
well, congratulations.
I was like, I'm gonna go look at that.
I'm gonna go
closer.
see what this shit show's
Yeah.
about.
Okay.
Well, we're still in the first hour, but I think it's time that we get moved on to the next
The
hour.
first hour?
And this is still segment 1.
Oh.
We haven't moved on to segment
We
2.
ordered a double, apparently.
Apparently, but we're gonna do it, and it goes like this. Oh, can we make it through somehow, some way? I bet we can. Moving on ever so gingerly. It's our headline section right here on Q Talk America. Where's my cursor? Oh, where is the remote detonator?
Some things don't need to be high tech.
I'm not confused.
Or aren't you?
After review of your footage, could you step over here, please?
Which is better, 2 faces or 3 faces?
She's dead.
She's dead. Well, these are going to be titillating stories that we're going to bring to you in living color, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing.
Oh, and this is really just the first segment. The A block, as Rachel likes to call it. I like to call it that, too. That's okay. Anyway, we're coming back after this break with headlines. Stick with us.
David, what does burning smell like?
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And it's the beginning of the B block. It's not hour 2. No. It's the B block of the Q Talk America flagship entertainment show called The Show with Clayton McKee. That's me. I'm sitting here alongside Kat Carlson. Al Perkins is sitting across from her. And right there is the Marnie Ryer stand-in. Joe DeGanzik is with us also on this night. Marnie was here earlier, but apparently she had to go get her taxes done in a van down by the river. Not sure how that worked out, but anyway.
Not sure, I don't know.
We'll figure it all out somehow. Coming up a little bit later, 2 things with Kat Carlson. Al's got some entertainment stuff going on because that's what Al does all the time.
We still do that?
And we'll talk more about my fledgling plumbing business. But in the meantime, it's our headline section. It goes something like this. A member of a gym in Michigan was looking for a Wi-Fi connection and to his surprise, found one named Remote Detonator. Prompting an evacuation of an entire gym facility was a precautionary measure. There was a search of the facility by bomb-sniffing dogs. The Saginaw, Michigan News reported nothing was found in the search. On that Sunday, the Planet Fitness in Saginaw Township is about 85 miles northwest of Detroit, Michigan. Saginaw Township Police Chief Donald, I don't know how to say the last name, so just Donald, says the patron brought the Wi-Fi connection's name to the attention of the manager who evacuated the building and then called police. The gym was closed for about 3 hours as police responded to it. The police chief said that there is no crime or threat, so no charges are expected. He notes that people often have odd names for Wi-Fi connections. Now, Planet Fitness also says that the manager was following company procedures for when there is any suspicious activity or safety issue in one of their facilities. Now I know we've done a show or segments a long time ago about crazy Wi-Fi names for different networks, but I thought I would bring up some that people have used and maybe ones you shouldn't use. Like that.
All right.
Like I have one in my house called the West Wing.
Oh.
Just because
Cute.
it's a receiver
Westerly
on the
wing of the
west
house,
side.
yeah.
That's right.
Appropriately named.
Now somebody who's named there's other ones. Abraham Linksys, because Linksys is the name of a router company.
Funny.
The LAN before time. It burns when IP IP addresses.
Okay, that one's funny.
Bill Y, the science fi.
No.
Yeah, pretty fly for a Wi-Fi.
I'll give him that one.
Pretty nerdy.
FBI surveillance van 594.
Those are always my favorite.
All right, we got a winner. That's
The LAN.
legit.
The LAN of milk and honey. Skynet Global Defense Network. I think that's also fun.
Oh yeah, it's always good to go Terminator.
Mine
humor.
is called Cup and String.
Okay, exactly.
Okay.
Cute.
Van down by the river.
Oh.
This one made me laugh because I had to actually think of my mom. The one is called Mom Click Here for Internet.
Oh. That.
Clever.
And for movie lovers, Silence of the LAN. Yes. Get off my LAN.
Hey, you kids get off my land.
Another one called Click Here for Viruses. Router, I hardly knew her. Of course, I like that. Yes. And again, another one for Al, The Net, starring Sandra Bullock.
Oh.
A Saturday afternoon in a hotel.
I know it was meant as a cautionary tale back in the day, but now it's my dream life. Just sit at home and have the neighbors not know me because the food gets delivered. Fuck you. That's a dream.
She's an invalid, lives in there, gets food
I
delivered.
love that movie.
Sings Donna Summer and watches
That's
all
actually
of
kind of possible.
Sandy
now.
Bullock movies.
But I was very disappointed to find out that I didn't get a little chirping bird that said, "You've got mail," when I got an email. I was very disappointed.
On what?
Because in the movie, she has little things that light up when she gets mail. That didn't happen.
Let me tell you how to fix that on your phone. We can make it make any sound.
I don't want it to.
Well, then get off that cross.
But I will have to say, because I love my Sandy Bullock movies.
Yes.
If I may, for just a moment, interrupt y'all. So last night, middle of the night, I'm going through the way too much cable that I still have not canceled because I'm some kind of an addict.
Like you do.
And I watched one of my favorite Sandy Bullock movies, Murder by Numbers, which I've seen 20 times if I've seen it once.
Did you learn something new?
Yes! The one teenage boy is Ryan Gosling.
Oh.
I'm so in love with Michael Pitt, the other serial killer. I had never paid attention to the fact that it's one of Ryan Gosling's first movies.
Well.
He's the other teenage sociopath.
Oh.
Like when he walked up to the car, I'm like, okay, how did I never realize
wait
that
a
was Ryan
minute.
Gosling? How long has it been since I watched this movie?
Well, you didn't realize it until the other day that I pointed out that the girl from the Progressive insurance commercials is in Goldberg's.
Yeah, but she's only been on for a couple
Doesn't
episodes.
matter. The point
Yeah.
is you didn't recognize her.
I know, I didn't. I
Cat-
did not.
Speaking
Hey, cat!
Hey, girl!
Speaking of recognizing people, it turns out if you go to the toilet in China, it will recognize your face.
Oh.
That's true. 2 more cities.
But
No.
I was.
You would think. Now,
might
2
recognize
more
something else.
cities, which means that there are already cities that have, but 2 more cities in China have installed a raft of technology in some of their public toilets, with one fitting facial recognition equipment as part of a nationwide campaign to improve the quality of public conveniences, dubbed the, quote, toilet revolution.
Which way are these cameras facing?
Yeah.
But I don't know how much more
For guys,
convenient you need a
sometimes
toilet.
I'm looking this
Does
way.
it adjust the height or something? Is it like personal preferences?
No, I think it knows if you've done something bad in there.
Now,
if you made boom boom in a place that you shouldn't make boom boom.
That's actually kind of true. The facial recognition is aimed to crack down on the theft of toilet paper. That's right. Now your unique face will be scanned, and
a
you will
big thing
be
in China.
you will be issued 40 centimeters of paper from a dispenser. That's right. It has to have facial recognition because you can't just keep lining up and getting more paper.
If you need more, can you deposit like
Cannot.
25 cents?
Cannot. No.
Oh, you got to make it work on 40 centimeters?
This much per face. That
Ooh.
end. Right. You better make a little ball.
I hope they don't have Mexican food there.
Also, sensors in the
burrito
stalls.
blowout is real.
I know. And if you're having trouble, there's a sensor in the stall that will issue an alert to an attendant if you've been inside for more than 10 minutes.
Hey, you okay? You okay now?
Hey, girl,
Hey,
you
cat.
okay?
Hey, girl.
Did you have the shitty beef or the shitty chicken?
Well, when the screen shows that one is occupied for more than 10 minutes, we'll go and check if anything's wrong.
Or
they
offer
say.
you 40 more centimeters of toilet paper.
There is also
Does the door open automatically or
right,
what?
there's also a life alert button in each
Oh.
stall in case you have an emergency.
I've fallen and I can't
Burrito
get up.
blowout.
Now, these toilets, which have received, I love how they put this, they have received more than 20,000 people.
Oh my god.
Received. Like they're gentlemen callers.
Yep, 20,000 people since
Shitter's
January.
Shitters
Also
full.
provides free Wi-Fi and phone chargers,
What is that
a
network
screen
called?
on the wall.
What
So
is
you're
that network
so that gives you
Shitty
time to air
Wi-Fi.
dry.
Shitty Wi-Fi.
It's called the Wi-Fi poop log from episode
I
227.
remember that. I remember that.
227.
I used that for like 2 weeks. Well, in addition, a screen on the wall shows the temperature, humidity, and the total volumes of water and electricity being consumed by the building, just for your,
Just,
right.
because
Oh,
Tuesday.
Okay.
how much water does this shitter consume? Look at that. It's 50,000 gallons.
Look at that.
It's a lot.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my god.
I know. Now, they're planning to expand the technology to
Data
another
over.
150 toilets in the very near future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be
It's-
helpful. I was almost
Apparently,
going to
toilet
be going
paper
to
theft
China
is a
soon.
problem in China. And now you know.
That's
You got to line
crazy.
up. You got to scan your face. You get your 40 centimeters.
And God bless you for making do.
I should have measured how
And I don't mean
What's the-
making do in a pun-like way. I mean,
I've been dealing with the
Mate.
Chinese for the past almost year. They're quite interesting people.
yeah, Amina's going to carry her own fucking toilet paper, and that is not a bad idea.
That
I'm
is
just-
That's
smart.
1.3 feet.
It's
Wow.
15 inches, right? So it's
That's wow.
this much toilet paper.
Granted, they eat
end.
different
And
things
I-
over there.
Make a mitten.
I love when people tell me I'm
Make
allergic
it
to MSG.
mid.
I'm like, oh, we'd know if there was MSG in this food. They're like,
Oh,
how would
yeah.
you know? I'm like, you'd be sitting in a river of shit on this bench with me. Like,
And as fun as that sounds,
Now, Amina, in full disclosure, did you have the shitty beef or the shitty chicken? That is stolen from South Park because the only guy in town who has an Asian restaurant is called City something. City, I forget what it's called. City something. City,
oh, so what, city beef or city
right.
chicken?
So he can't say city, so he says shitty. So that's where that came from. I stole it. Shitty Walk. Maybe it's called City Walk.
City
Maybe-
Walk, yeah.
City Walk is what it's called. And
So,
all his.
Shitty walk.
You want the city beef or the city chicken?
Yeah, there's something in MSG that makes the pooper go. So my story. Speaking of shitters, we're gonna go right to Nikki Haley.
oh,
Where's her story? So on Sunday, Nikki Haley, who is our ambassador to the UN, she told them that we were gonna start
Oh yeah.
sanctions against Russia first thing Monday. But a consensus emerged Tuesday at the White House in Mar-a-Lago about how to clean up the administration's suddenly muddled plans to crack down on Russia. Namely, blame Nikki Haley. Several administration officials said the U.S. ambassador to the UN got ahead of President Trump's decision-making when she hit the Sunday talk show circuit and said the U.S. would level new sanctions the next day, targeting Russian companies that facilitated the Syrian regime's chemical weapons program. The sanctions have yet to come. She got ahead of the curve, National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow told reporters on Tuesday near the president's Florida estate, a day after a report claiming Trump put the brakes on plans for new Russia sanctions. She's done a great job. She's a very effective ambassador. There might have been some momentary confusion about that. Haley had something to say.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I don't get confused, she said in a statement obtained by CNN's Jake Tapper. And if you want to have fun, John Oliver playing Jake Tapper reading Trump's tweets is fantastic because he uses the exclamation points and the capital letters. So he
Yes.
screams stuff. Jab! It's so much. Hey, cat! He is so fun.
Well, Jake Tapper came on the air yesterday on CNN, and he ran down all of the day's headlines with all of the shit show, and before he goes, "Go home, 2018. You're drunk."
Yeah.
Right on the air. Oh my God.
A White House official said Kudlow apologized to Haley for saying that she might have been confused, but he wasn't alone in that statement. A day earlier, White House press secretary and dead inside Sarah Sanders responded to
really
reports
is.
about Haley's comments by saying the administration was considering additional sanctions on Russia, but that a decision hadn't been made yet. So Trump was annoyed at the confusion. One of the rare instances in which Haley has drawn his ire. It's not clear whether Trump has spoken to her directly since the White House said Haley had overstepped. But this is just shitty people doing shitty things.
Oh my God, yeah.
And if you remember correctly, the Benghazi nightmare began because, what's her name? The one that was supposed to be, is it Rice? What was her name?
Condoleezza?
Not Condoleezza Rice.
No.
No, she was
Susan Rice?
Susan Rice.
Oh.
No, was it Susan Rice that was supposed to be Secretary of State, but then they couldn't let her? Anyways, she was the one on the Sunday shows instead all the stuff about being in response to the YouTube videos, and then they had to walk that back. That wasn't what it was, and.
Yes, Susan Rice.
Susan Rice. So there was all that thing about what was she doing on the Sunday shows with all this misinformation, and this was one of Trump's biggest thing was that whole Susan Rice on the Sunday shows getting Benghazi wrong was how the lie all started. And here we are. Isn't it strange that everything he complained about with everyone else, he's got someone on the Sunday shows completely fucking up his message.
Mired in it.
Yeah, just can't get out of it. So. And Nikki Haley, I'm sure that she's a lovely human being dressed in a villain's clothing, but just awful. And that we're never, ever, ever, ever going to do anything about Russia. Ever.
Oh, no.
No.
Not with this administration.
No.
Because he's licking Putin's ass.
Well, we're going to travel to...
Segue from licking someone's ass. I dare ya.
Well, this guy was trying to lick his own ass, metaphorically.
Aren't we all?
He was trying to get it figured away. Well, I usually fall off the couch.
Seems like a reach.
A Florida man was done in by his own dashboard camera. Because, he's the most smartest. Xavier Moran, 25 years old, was arrested on April 7th on charges of battery, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, resisting an officer without violence, and escape. Now, he told police that he had been involved in a crash on April 5th in Royal Palm Beach and that he could prove someone else had cut him off because he had a dash cam, right? But the possible accident could also potentially explain the cuts and scratches on his face in the mugshot taken soon after he was then booked into Palm Beach jail. Let's cut to said picture. There's the young man right there.
Oh.
Looks like he's been a little beat up. Got a little problem going on right there, right?
Oh, poor Javi.
Okay. Well, he was released on Sunday and signed consent for deputies to view his dash cam video. The video revealed something altogether different from a collision that he was reporting.
Funny how that works.
So surprising.
When a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department reviewed the footage, he found images of Moran taking a baseball bat from his trunk and also of someone breaking the glass door to a beauty store and burglarizing the establishment, according to the Palm Beach Post. Police later determined that the man in the video was Moran himself.
Ah.
Yeah, he was the one breaking into the
Just
store.
needed a little
Forgot to turn off the
Perm
dash
solution.
cam.
Maybe she needed a little weave in there. She needed a little
Extra
something.
color.
On Tuesday, Moran was arrested again and charged with possession of burglary and the burglary of possession of burglary tools and burglary of a dwelling. Moran was being held in the West Detention Center on a $5,000 bond. I just think that's funny. He's so stupid that he's like, sure, look at all my video. Look at it all. It's all right there, the wreck. Forgetting that he just filmed himself breaking into a fucking store. Slip this in if I may, because, that's how we work here.
Hey.
Did anybody else see this in the news today? Going a trifle political, but I thought it was kind of funny, and it's a slap in the old Trump's face. Trump's Supreme Court pick sides with the liberals on the immigration ruling against the administration.
That was a shocking.
Happened
I
today.
didn't see that.
I haven't been on the
The
news
Trump
today.
appointee was the decisive vote in a 5-4 decision. So he says, nope, the immigration ruling is too vague. I
Oh,
thought-
because he's a by the letter kind of a guy, so he's gonna screw us when it comes to interpretation. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to not following the exact letter of the law, then that's where like a liberal agenda will get screwed. When we start to say, oh well, Second Amendment didn't really mean this, he's gonna say, nope, here's what it says.
But I thought it was amazing that I'm sure he's done other things since he's been in on the bench, but the big thing that fucking Trump has got a hard on for.
Yeah.
He votes against it. I'm like, oh, look at that.
They keep losing the immigration thing.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it keeps getting shot down.
And he quoted like the colonists. Like he went back to
Really?
yeah, he went back to like the Declaration of Independence and the vagueness of treason during the colonial years. I mean, he went to the deep cuts part of that greatest hits tape. Let me tell you.
my dear cat. Hey, cat.
Hey, cat.
Hang on.
Oh, she's trying to
I'm
fill out
talking
her.
to the chat room.
She's figuring out her LinkedIn.
I am.
All
No,
right.
I
All right.
made my
You're-
company
you're-
page. I
oh, you're
listed
good
myself
now?
as owner. I did all the thing. I did all the things.
She's all LinkedIn.
I'm all LinkedIn.
I'm so proud of you.
So you know who might have trouble using the facial recognition software?
Those people in China.
No, I think they're gonna figure it out just fine. But there's a guy by the name of Jerome
I
Hammond.
thought it was this guy. My bad. Sorry.
Also probably true. But in a medical first, breaking medical news right here on Q Talk America.
God, we have a
Face
medical
transplant.
Face transplant.
Ooh.
A French surgeon says he has successfully performed a second face transplant on the same patient.
Wait, what?
Two
Right.
times.
Two?
I'm going to tell you all two things. I'm gonna
Right.
tell two
I-
faces.
Two faces.
One.
Three,
elegant
actually, if you
solution.
count
Yeah.
the original.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think we
He's
must.
on number 3.
We
Well-
must.
You just-
Jerome received his first face transplant in 2010. But after getting ill in 2015, he was given medication that interfered with the anti-rejection medication
No?
Mm.
that he was taking for his face transplant. So last November, the tissue in his transplanted face began to die,
Holy crap.
leading surgeons to remove it.
Oh.
This
Ouch.
leaves the guy without a face, man without a face.
Yeah.
Holy, that doesn't sound
Eyes
pleasant.
without a face.
Right.
It's a Billy Idol song.
Oh,
Face with
but it
No.
sounds
body.
awful.
Sounds
This
not
man
pleasant.
had no eyelids, no ears, no skin, could not speak, could not eat, limited hearing, can't talk.
This is a Christmas story.
This is like a bad episode of sci-fi or something. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Ouch. Oh.
However,
Ugh.
in January, this timely news, in January,
Just in time.
Big-
New
big
Year's
run of
resolution.
face pulse here.
when a second face donor became available, the original surgeon and his team performed second face transplant.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
God.
I know.
I assume
I know.
that the face donor was dying or it died because then he's left
Hopefully
without
dead.
a face, right?
Hopefully dead.
Otherwise, their story has a
Right.
third
So
part.
there's a missing face somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
okay.
No, and this time a much younger face. Now, his
Oh,
first face
so
was
an upgrade.
donated by a 60-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
Second face, 22.
Oh well.
Yeah.
And how old
So-
is the individual that's getting all
No,
this work?
He's now 43.
Okay. Oh,
Well, didn't the
Upgrade.
lady that got her face bit off by a chimp, didn't she get a face transplant?
yeah, they
There
did
was
go through
something.
reconstruction of some sort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a full face plant.
Face transplants are
Face
very
plant.
new.
Yeah, they are. I
But
remember
they
reading
say,
about it.
God.
the more they see what's happening with the transplant patients, the more they have to accept that chronic rejection might be a reality, and that face transplants
May not.
might be more like kidney transplants, which are generally about 10 to 15 years, and then I
And
know.
you wonder if they'll be able to do any work with
Short-term-
that with like stem cells. You know what I mean? In terms of actually, maybe we can generate.
instead
a
of
new
build a bear,
face.
like grow a face.
Well,
Sure.
yeah. I mean, heck, I
Well-
read all this science stuff all the time. It's just like what we can do now. It's unbelievable.
So I was just having a conversation with somebody about
Face transplants.
stem cell research and how they're like putting the stem cells into next to cartilage for like knees, and I guess
Mhm.
some famous basketball player who had to go to Germany to get it done because I guess they do it in Europe, but we don't do it here. But then you don't know what the stem cells are going to grow into. There's no guarantee they're going to take.
They're going
turns
to
in-
actually grow the thing that you
They're
want it
going to
to
grow the
right?
Turns
tendon that
into
they're
a-
next to.
like
Yeah,
a
so I'm like,
cauliflower or something
right.
like
That's
that.
I'm like, is it a cougar? So they were just talking about the fact that
Pterodactyl.
caw. Yeah, I mean, hey cat. That's the second thing the pterodactyl says.
Can't.
No one likes to be imitated. So,
Changing my
but
company name immediately.
and I can't remember if it was just if the conversation that the two people that I was participating in involuntarily was about just knees and ankles, or if it had something to do with anything else. But it's about cartilage and ligaments, and I guess some famous basketball player. Somebody's got to look that up and put it on a greatest hits tape.
They're doing very exciting things about it on Grey's Anatomy. I'm very excited.
So
That
there you
show's
go.
still on? Wow.
So and then speaking of
I
someone,
watch it every week, Joe.
Okay.
speaking
check
of
it
the
out.
latest face transplant donor, Barbara Bush is dead.
Oh,
So, the matriarch of a political dynasty, the widely admired wife of one president, and the fiercely loyal mother of another, died Tuesday evening at her home in Houston. She was 92.
She had a nice life.
Yeah, long enough. The day before, they had said that she had decided to not seek additional medical treatment and will instead focus on comfort care. You're 92. My thing is, after 75, it's good luck and God bless. Nobody wants a hero. And that's why I have no soul. They recently celebrated their 73rd wedding anniversary in January, making them the longest married couple in presidential history. Hopefully the Carters will beat that. Mrs. Bush has been hospitalized with all kinds of shit going on. As the wife of the 41st president and the mother of the 43rd, she was only the second woman in history to have that distinction after Abigail Adams. She was also the father of Jeb, who ran for president in 2016. During that campaign, he was repeatedly derided in personal terms by the eventual nominee and now President Trump, prompting Mrs. Bush, who was never shy about expressing her views, to lash back, suggesting in a television interview that Mr. Trump was a misogynist and a hate monger. So she's got a real flair for the obvious. He says terrible things about women, terrible things about the military. I don't understand why people are for him, she told CNN.
we don't either.
Dedicated to her family and largely indifferent to glamour. Please don't let them say that about me when I die.
Indifferent to glamour.
Mrs. Bush played down her role in her husband's political success, but she was a shrewd and valuable ally, becoming a sought-after speaker in at least 4 national campaigns. She stepped into another presidential campaign in 2000, that of her son George, then the governor of Texas. She appeared at fundraisers and met voters in New Hampshire and other states on behalf as he rolled the Republican presidential nomination. She was clearly a presidential asset. In 1999, a poll found that 63% of Americans had a favorable opinion of her, and that only 3% had an unfavorable. That math doesn't add up. So what are the other 34% thinking?
Indifferent.
Yeah, yeah, just don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
there's a third option. No opinion. I was very surprised by my social media feeds at how many people appeared in their notifications, genuinely upset.
I would go with mostly indifferent.
I could give a shit.
Yeah. Well, First Lady from January 1989 to January 89 to January 93, Mrs. Bush generally refused to talk publicly about contentious issues, particularly when her opinion was said to differ from her husband's. I'm not against it or for it, she said, of the Equal Rights Amendment. I'm not talking about it. I want equal rights for men, women, everybody. In a follow-up to that story, it turns out there is no expiration date on passing the amendment to the Constitution of the Equal Rights Amendment.
Okay.
And Illinois is about to or has just passed, finally, after all of these years, passed the Equal Rights Amendment, and I think we only need one more state. So there is still time to get the 3/4 of the states.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day, and I was surprised to hear that. I
And
didn't realize
Illinois
that.
got on. I think it was Illinois that just got on board with the Equal Rights Amendment. There were rumors that she favored abortion rights, but she made it clear that she supported her husband and would not say whether or not she was comfortable with his anti-abortion stand. She was vocal, however, in championing causes of her choosing. Literacy was one, and so was civil rights. So she had some good things, but then she shit the bed in 2005 while visiting victims of Hurricane Katrina at the Houston Astrodome, where they're being temporarily housed. She remarked that many of them were underprivileged anyway, and that their Astrodome stay, though the living conditions they were dire, was working very well for them. There wasn't anybody in the Bush family that Hurricane Katrina didn't fuck straight up the ass, including Barbara Bush. And I think that's when things started to go south for her. When the invasion of Iraq, she said in a television interview that she had not been watching coverage of the prelude to war. Why should we hear about body bags and deaths? How many? What days are going to happen? Why would I waste my beautiful mind on something like that? Oh, you mean your American citizens dying in a war that your husband made up? So, and then before the 2016 election, she said that Jeb should not run because we've had enough Bushes
in the White House, right?
So, I mean, we can blame it on the fact that she was 80 and kind of lost her fucking mind, but she went from this unpretentious old lady in fake pearls and Kmart clothes to saying some truly shitty stuff. But I mean, she wasn't horrible. She wasn't Nancy Reagan.
I was just gonna
Right.
say that.
She wasn't a horrible cunt like that.
I was wondering how your reaction was going to be in your description of Miss Bush as opposed to what you hated from the Titless Wonder.
Yeah,
of Nancy Reagan.
I mean, she was milquetoast. There was just nothing about her. She didn't stand up for anything. She didn't,
No.
you know what I mean? Like, she never stood up and championed anyone's rights. She was not a women's advocate. Like, she was not like you kind of forgot there was a first lady for those 4 years. Like, there was just nothing to
Yeah,
her.
I remember she
Agreed.
didn't really.
She didn't
I mean,
have.
it was the '90s, and I wasn't like I was gonna say I wasn't alive, but I wasn't a teenager. I don't remember. Yeah, I just don't remember much about her.
Yeah, there was nothing really
She
to
always had-
remember
always
except
had a
for
Cocker Spaniel or some dog.
when George the First got the food poisoning and threw up all over everybody and passed out in
In
Japan.
China or Japan, right?
Then she showed a little spunk and like got up and ran around and kind of like she ran the media for a minute or two. But the sad part was, and I really do believe this, is that I think she died yesterday. But there was such a shit show in the media about Hannity, and they're such a politically savvy family
They didn't get to it.
that they were like,
Hold back.
This isn't going to
Yeah.
play today. Let's play it tomorrow.
because just based on like Jenna Bush or Gemma Bush or whatever that young
Jenna Hager Bush.
the drunk Bush,
I don't know
whatever her
which
name
one's
was.
drunk.
I don't know which one's which. They both were. Remember, they were all famously drunk at parties.
Okay.
Twins, aren't they?
Yeah, they're twins, and they were
Who
like
can tell them apart?
underage drinkers and
Well,
all that shit. But the Obama daughters were the ones to worry about because they smiled during a conference. But the Bush girls were passing out fake IDs. So I was under the impression from watching Gemma, whatever her name is,
Mm-hmm.
girl group of the future, that grandma was already dead. And they do sometimes hold, and if Mark was listening, he would back it up, that we were in LA with his friends from Good Morning LA or LA Live or whatever that LA talk show is in the morning on some channel. And his friends were like the producers and the main personality that we went to visit. And Bob Hope had died, but oh god, what's Bob Hope's wife's name? Dolores. Dolores had held off until Monday morning to announce it because she knew that everyone would rush back to work and like report on his death, and she was like, he's old, just we'll release the news Monday morning so you can all enjoy your. She was so in with like the LA news
Yeah.
community and stuff, and they were so on top of how the world worked that they're like, we'll just give it till Monday morning, like he's not going to be less dead
Adding to your story about potentially they held it over earlier today.
because it kept leaking yesterday too that she had died.
Well, I had not heard that. I noticed that a link had gotten posted on a friend's Facebook page, and the second I saw it, I'm like, first of all, it doesn't look like a CNN post, and then I immediately Googled it, and nothing had come up. Nothing showed up at all from anybody else that she had died. So earlier today, I'm like, this is fake. In fact, if you clicked on the link, it took you to some other link that was like headlinesomething.com CNN. Like, it wasn't even the real CNN link.
Right.
So I messaged her and I'm like, I think you got hacked or something's wrong. Like, this isn't legit. Like, this is a complete lie. Take it down. And she messaged me back. She was like, first of all, I don't even know how it got on my page. She's like, somehow. And I messaged her back, fucking Russians. So oddly,
bots.
so 2 hours later, they fucking break in on the news and they say Barbara Bush died. I messaged her back. I'm like, well, now you can put it back up. Like, it's real now.
It's
Yeah.
valid, yeah. I remember when Steve Jobs passed away. This was
That's a shock to me, Joe.
thanks, Clayton.
A caring friend.
When Bill Gates dies too, I'm pretty sure you're gonna
I'm
know.
sure, yeah, exactly. But we believe that again it was held, or that he died later in the day and it wasn't announced till the next day, and that we think that all the Apple people knew that he was basically on the verge of death, because if you watch, and you won't, I'm sure, but for those in the chat room who are also geeks and maybe Apple followers, if you watched, it was the announcement of the iPhone, the one that came out with Siri, and the entire event is like so depressing. Like, you can just look at all the presenters announcing this stuff that they're just not excited, they're not in the mood, and it just seems so different from all the other keynotes where they're just like, yay, we got this new iPhone, it does all this stuff. It just seems so low key. We think that they knew, and then the next day it came out, and the commentators were talking about that. The whole press event was just so like subdued. Something was up. So
Well, I mean, sick and really dying is just as sad as all the way dead.
Well,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you know that the person that dreamed this up is only got
Right.
a couple of breaths, because he
Yeah.
was dying.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
I honestly think they were just being a little media savvy and being like,
Sure.
let's stay out of this shit show.
Right. Let's
and
not
hope
get
for
buried
a,
under that.
Yeah,
Let's
hope for a
actually-
better news
right.
cycle. Because they had said a lot of goodbyes on NBC over the course of the day. Like they announced the Comfort Care, that one drunk Bush
Jenna
girl.
Hager-Bush was on.
Yeah, I insist on calling her that because of all the shit they gave the Obama girls for laughing during a press conference.
That's fair.
So, she's dead. She lived a long life.
Oh my God, yeah.
God bless her.
Had a girl.
And the drunk twins seem to be on the up and up now. One of them's on TV. I don't know where the other one is.
I have no idea either. All right, so I'm going to segue back to your story. Face plants. Face transplants.
Oh, sure.
And I'm doing this really for you. I'm doing this for you, Al, because
Oh, did Reba McEntire have one?
the Country Music Awards.
Close.
No,
Close.
but the Country Music Awards were on
She looked
Sunday.
more like a man than ever.
They were on Sunday, right? Don't you fucking get up.
I'm listening. Desperately thirsty.
You know this is a visual.
Oh, okay.
So, one thing I noticed.
I'm back.
It was posted online. She appeared, she hosted, she appeared, and she wore the exact same gown that she had worn many, 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 many years ago.
She had a fat ass then. She's got a fat ass now.
Now, what I want now,
Okay, it's from Drop Dead
clearly,
Gorgeous.
she's had some work done. We know that, and that's not a lot of people have. So,
But
But
her
she's a
boobs-
different
Her
person.
boobs have fallen the appropriate amount, though. I was buying the boob story.
so that is her back in the day, and I don't know when that was.
Before the plane crash.
Right, but then so look at the face, hair's so, and then you go to this.
Because now she's a drag
Now
queen.
she's got her eyes are a little pulled, everything's pulled and tucked.
She's got a penis.
She does not.
Finger on the pulse. We know this.
I just thought it was interesting if you just go side by
They
side with
tried to
these.
tell us with that KFC thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That white guy that plays Reba McEntire is now playing Colonel Sanders.
I know.
Because it doesn't say Reba McEntire as Colonel Sanders. It says this white guy now got another job.
Yep.
And we don't know because that could be post plane crash too. That could be the same man.
No, it's definitely not the same man.
not
It's in
the
the face.
same
Look at the face.
man.
It's a different man.
Because that plane crash was like 91 when she died.
Yeah.
She did not die.
She did.
When was the original dress taken?
I don't know when the first one was taken. I don't know that. All right, so now to get us out of the B block, because we've done this, we're gonna go into this segment, and hopefully you're ready for it.
Real quick. This person's dead. That person's dead. Oh, that's not really entertainment, but something horrible happened on Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I forgot about that person's dead too. And then I have a couple of TV shows to warn you about, and a quick re-review of something that we've already talked about. Ooh, and an interesting follow-up to the Harvey story that we mentioned briefly, but now we have an answer.
Okay. Well, Al's got something to talk about. Shocking to report. Look at that.
I know.
It's the next segment coming at you right after this.
We've all got places to go! We've all got places to go!
You're listening to Q Talk America. is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Ooh, I just got back just in time. Holy cow, those bathroom breaks. I should be playing like Stairway to Heaven or something.
You've gotten it close.
That'll be Hi everybody, we're back. It's the beginning of hour 3 typically. We're gonna call it the Block C is what we're gonna call this one. If you haven't already enjoyed the first 2 segments of the show, I can't imagine why you wouldn't just download it yourself, subscribe, or listen to it later on in your leisure time. You know, when you're not reviewing pictures of Beyonce from Coachella. Because, that's
I
important.
still need to watch that. No, that's very important.
Couldn't give 2 shits about it. I don't give a shit about anything that happens at Coachella.
Listen, I have very few deeply held personal beliefs in life. One of them is now the Reba drag queen extravaganza. The other one is Beyonce is a robot.
And now,
She
Al
just is.
Perkins.
She just is.
Gotta
Okay,
go back
so
to
we'll start with the fact that we had chatted about the Harvey Weinstein.
Sure.
Did I say his name?
Sure.
We don't know.
Weinstein. I don't know his name.
Marnie.
Anyways, we had talked about the fact that his wife is one of the judges on Project Runway All Stars.
We did.
Founder of Marquesa, Georgina Chapman, and
All right.
absolutely, his wife is one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Is she a hostage?
No, she left him almost immediately afterwards. But
girl.
she had a couple kids with him. They were married for quite a few years. So my question was, how is Project Runway going to address the fact that they have, all these models, and how will they
sure.
address the fact that Georgina Chapman's on there? Well, then Project Runway All Stars just ended, so they must have taped just before it all broke. Like somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Their little window of Project Runway All-Star, because they don't really film over 15 weeks.
Right.
That show is filmed over
In, like, a
3
day and a half.
exhausting weeks.
Right.
Like when they say last week on Project Runway, they meant like 3 hours ago.
Right.
Like those people are like breakneck pace. So they never addressed it. It never came up. Georgina Chapman only missed 1 week, and I'm not really sure what happened. It was never addressed. But it turns out one of the ways that he was horrible, Mr. Harvey, was that he was using Project Runway as an access to the models. He wasn't doing anything dirty with the contestants, but the models that they used, and that's why they were saying some of them would drop out at the last minute, was over harassment. Well, it turns out the thing that I never realized was that the Weinstein Company owned Project Runway. So now that company's going bankrupt, so Project Runway's on the line.
I thought they already sold the company. I thought it's already been sold.
Not all of it. I think they're still trying to sell off assets and everything.
Sell
like
your
that.
house.
And shows.
Right. So
Buy
one of the
Project
things,
Runway.
yeah, that Lifetime is trying to buy back is they want to get the rights to Project Runway, but if it gets lost in the battles, that show just goes away and it will never be heard of again. Like
Sure.
there's just no coming back for it unless somehow people get together and come up with like Project Stairway, you know what I mean? Like something that's close but not quite the hits you remember, kind of like on Kimmy Schmidt.
Project
Yes.
Runaway.
Yeah. So
Project Catwalk.
not Aaron. So I just thought that was interesting because we had talked about that. I know that you guys weren't listening, but Marnie and I had talked about the connection to Georgina Chapman because she was like, I don't know who Georgina Chapman was, even though she swore she watched Project Runway for years. I'm like, she's the other lady on the show besides Nina Garcia, but she is only on the All Stars mode. She's not on the regular Project Runway.
Oh, okay.
But she did found Marquesa, and if you Google her, she's absolutely gorgeous. So there's that. That's still in limbo when we're waiting on final word, or it may have happened and I just missed the headline. What else is on this page? Let's go through here first. Broad City is going to end after next season.
Okay.
This season, I think it'll be season 4 will be the last season. They have first look deals with Comedy Central, either together or separately. And after how funny this last season was, where they bleeped out the word Trump every single time because they thought it was a swear word, just kept up the funny. Like,
Right on.
Yeah, if you have Project Broad City, it's kind of Campus Ladies gone completely awry with like more swearing and more sex because on Oxygen they couldn't do too much dirty. But Broad City is definitely the stepchild of Campus Ladies.
Yeah, I was super into it, and then somehow my like Hulu algorithm got all screwed up, so it got lost from my feed for a while, and so now it's back occasionally.
Oh yeah, and enjoy it. The 4th season, very funny. In season 3, when they ended with the period pants, when they go to Israel just for the free trip to Israel, and they're not really just wrong.
Yeah.
And the fact that so they won't find the pot on her, she has some blood stains on the crotch of her pants and covers it with a sweater. Just completely fucking wrong. We did both of those. If you are not watching, it comes back next week, I think.
No, keep going.
Oh, I think it starts back next week.
Which does?
What?
Your phone. Look at your phone.
Check your batteries, Wilma.
You have a message.
I messaged you.
Don't have it.
I don't know why.
Okay, I'll.
Do you have to wait? Do you have Facebook Messenger?
Absolutely.
Well, then check it, Joan.
It should have. It should
It
have given
should've.
me. It should have given me a little message.
This shows that I sent it.
I think that was really discreet.
I'm
That
sitting
really
like,
was.
what is he talking? Am I in the entertainment now?
No,
No, I'm like, okay.
clearly not.
Clearly
Campus
not,
Ladies
apparently,
was 2
yeah.
seasons, and Sean Hayes and Megan Mullally were in season 2. It was the Groundlings was the comedy troupe that they were from. So everybody from the Groundlings eventually makes it on there, but it was just how willing they were to just offend every single
Oh my God.
demographic.
It's so priceless.
There was nothing was off when they rushed a black sorority,
Oh no.
and while priceless and pointed, it was just cringeworthy.
Of course,
Because
you
they
are.
went and saw a black comedian, and then they tried to come back, and as their black entertainment to rush the sorority, they just repeated a black male comedian's act word for word in their white accents.
Oh no.
And it just made your heart hurt. It was so awful. But anyways, Westworld from HBO. The new season starts next week. If you missed it, or if like I did, you dropped off at episode 7 because it kind of felt like, what the fuck is going on? Get back on that boat, ride that to the finish. That show has, from like episode 8 or episode 7 on, every episode ends with an amazing twist. Just phenomenal television. He's got a make.
I've got it.
Okay.
My alerts come up.
Bathroom's right out there. So good. A coworker of mine, a friend of mine, he texted me in the middle of the night. He's like, do you watch Westworld? I'm like, oh, I gave up. I kind of couldn't follow the storyline after a while. And he's like, oh no, go back. It pays off. And he was not kidding. That show pays off in like 100 different ways. And I'll give you the one giveaway because we've said the name Dolores already. But the one character's name is Dolores. And as like the guy's in love with her and somebody else is doing something else, and he's like, her name means of pain. And I was like, I've never even thought about that the name Dolores means of pain, or in like Catholic circles it means Our Lady of Sorrow. It just means hurting, and dolor, pain. Like I was like,
Right.
how did I never know that that's what that fucking name meant? Like, what a horrible name to give a child. Then to have this character that suffers through all this, and the guy's like, fuck it, her name means of pain, and you're like, ah! But it's so good. So good. Everybody's good in it. And Anthony Hopkins in the last episode, all the awards. He should have won. Like, that was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. The Walking Dead ended its season. They finally wrapped up what, in the course of the players on the show has been, like, if you're watching the TV show, the last 4 seasons have taken place over 6 weeks. And it has been endless.
Right.
The woman who's pregnant has not entered her 2nd trimester, but people that have stabbed have been healed. People have, like, died, risen from the dead, but she's still not showing. Like, it's been the worst time compression ever on any show in modern history, and they finally put an end to it. She has been pregnant since season 4 and is still not showing. This was the end of season 8. It has been 6 fucking weeks of this goddamn Roadrunner cartoon. So they finally put an end to that bullshit. So if you were waiting to go back to The Walking Dead, maybe start next season. Because this has just been unbearable. This is not entertainment, but this was a story that went around. A lot of people didn't know if it was real. But an engine in a deadly Southwest jet incident, missing a fan blade. The part of the engine hit the window, broke a window, and a woman got sucked out.
Oh my God.
And she got compressed into a window this big. She was not that big.
Not very cute.
They said it was
mid-flight?
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30,000 feet.
Engine exploded.
I think they said 18,000 feet after they had been like pressurized. And I think her getting stuck in the window is kind of what helped them land safely. That they
Oh
didn't
my
drop like a rock.
God.
But they pulled her bloody, tangled body back into the plane. landed safely, rushed her off. She's kind of dead.
I can't imagine.
So if you've seen that, it's not a hoax. Like, that really did happen.
When
and
did,
it
I
just
didn't.
happened today.
Didn't, oh my
Yeah.
God.
I think it was.
I don't
want to
fly again.
From LaGuardia
Awful.
to they were on their way to Dallas, and they actually said to stop. I forget where they.
Philadelphia. they
Oh,
only
I
did-
saw a tweet
they-
that they
so-
had to divert.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
That's it.
it didn't mention anything else. That was
Oh, yeah.
whoa. Okay, that was
Exploded
it.
engine. Again, those pressurized windows are perfectly fine
Yeah,
for
until-
pressure,
right.
but impact from the outside, they're not
Yeah.
strong enough.
And you know.
Oh, and
real-
not just that, but like when you decompress,
It's
that will
instant.
suck a human body
No,
through
right.
it, like turn it into
Yeah.
hamburger
Right.
helper.
And I mean, for those listening, flying still basically the safest form of traveling. These incidents happen like 1 out of every million
Oh yeah.
or more
Well, and,
flights.
and this
Elevators are still technically the safest form of travel.
oh,
and the
Interesting.
and it comes on the heels of 60 Minutes on Sunday did a big story about Allegiant Airlines and how they have, for whatever reason, the FAA is just ignoring all of the crazy antics that they're doing with all the failures, all the problems, everything they've got going, and it's like, why is nobody paying any
Oh, that
attention to
plane's
this?
held together by duct tape.
Is there anybody that works at the FAA at this point?
Well, they're looking
Probably
into
not.
it. They're
Right,
looking
exactly. Another department that's strangely empty, like our State
Understaffed.
Department. So now we'll go over the deaths. I think that's all we have left. So our first one, Oscar-winning director Milos Forman. What day did he die? April 14th. So he died Saturday. Czech-born, the Death Den. I don't think anybody had Milos Forman. But he
I
won
did
Best
not.
Directing Oscars for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Amadeus. He was 86 years old. He was also known for directing Hair, one of my favorite musical movies. Ragtime, The People vs. Larry Flint. Tommy Schlamme, my favorite name in entertainment, who is the Directors Guild president. Milos was truly one of ours, a filmmaker, artist, and champion of artist rights. His directorial vision definitely brought together provocative subject matter, stellar performances, and haunting images to tell the story of universal struggles for free expression and self-determination. And I would just like to say, on a personal note, that as much as I love the movie Hair, Amadeus is the first time I ever saw a movie, walked out of a movie, paid the money, saw the movie again. It was one of the first movies I ever owned on VHS, and it is one of the first things I ever bought on DVD. It is it looks like it's going to be a 3-hour boring opus like Gandhi or any of those horrible movies like The Last Emperor, but Amadeus is delightful, fun, a sexy romp. It's so much fun and has probably the greatest performance by an actor ever captured on film, with F. Murray Abraham as Solari, the
Yeah.
genius that was so jealous of Amadeus that it actually destroyed his life and Amadeus's life. His stalking of, his obsession with.
I feel like I've seen the movie, but not to
You'd
this
remember
level.
the laugh.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
remember
I've
Amadeus's
I've
laugh.
never seen it, but I
Amadeus.
remember when it came out.
yeah.
And
yeah.
brilliant. It just stands up to this. And every once in a while, I'll just pull out that movie and watch it. And you will never forget F. Murray Abraham as Solari. Just one of the most beautiful performances ever captured of someone who knows how he's just smart enough to know how good Mozart is.
Right on.
He's just good enough to know that he can never be Mozart. And the jealousy and the just, it consumes him from all angles. His hatred, his jealousy, his love, and it ruins both their lives, while Amadeus is just giggling his way and fucking everything in sight, and it's just wonderful. So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, very good. Classic movie. Everyone's seen it. Everyone knows it's great. But Amadeus is probably the one that you don't know is secretly hiding in the vaults of one of the best movies ever made. And a movie that I can never get anybody to watch because they're like, oh, it's going to be like Gandhi, which is just unwatchable.
No, I have a good feeling toward the movie. I feel like I've seen
Yeah.
it and enjoyed it. Just maybe not. I mean, as usual, not quite to this.
Right.
level.
And honestly, if that there's those, I call them the Oscar-winning scenes, like Barbra Streisand, where actually Denzel Washington with the one tear in Glory, and Barbra Streisand singing "My Man" while she's like wiping snot off her nose and crying and
So
singing
good.
live. Like, there's that one moment on film where you're like, that's
There
where
it
they
is.
won the
That's it.
Oscar. And the last scene where F. Murray Abraham talks about the genius of Mozart, and it just kills him that he's just good enough to know he can't be that good,
Yeah.
is just so heartbreaking for anybody who's ever been jealous of someone else's talent. It's just devastating to watch. And then Harry Anderson, 65, Night Court actor. Magician, all around good guy. I've never heard a bad word said about him.
Never ever.
Just dead. Like, just died.
Just died.
Doesn't seem like any kind of
Who was he
foul
on Night
play.
He was the judge
He
on
was the
Night
judge.
Court.
Oh, the judge. Okay, it
Yeah.
was such a great show.
And,
My God, all
and
those
he-
80s shows.
In early 80s, he used to come out on SNL, and he was a guest, and he would do magic tricks. And one of the things he used to do was he would explain how the magic trick worked, all the while deceiving you that he was actually showing you and not doing another trick in it, and he was doing a trick within a trick.
Yeah.
And he would come out and do shit. And I actually watched a couple YouTube videos yesterday when I found that he passed, and I'm like, yeah, he was that good. He could just distract the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And it'll have you laughing over here and steal you blind over here. And
And Neil Patrick Harris said it was one of the reasons that he got into that close-up
Oh.
magic. What his fascination with it was from watching him as a young person and like kind of admiring his shtick, and like he's kind of like the Broad City to his
Okay.
campus lady. Nominated for 3 consecutive Emmys. Night Court ran for a surprising 8 years.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that too.
And it was part of the Thursday night lineup with Cheers and The Cosby Show. I don't think The Golden Girls was on Thursday.
Well, if you remember, also we got started out with the little, I forget what, not bailiff. The bailiff was the tall guy, and then we had Salma Diamond.
Yeah,
was
they
the
both
first
died.
one, and they died. And that's where we get. Is it Marshall Wallace?
Yeah, Marsha Warfield.
Marsha Warfield.
Like they kept killing off the bailiff.
Right, the bailiffs kept dying, but Marsha Warfield is. But attitude. I just loved it.
And that what was she's in my favorite.
Marky Post.
No. The old lady with the Selma Diamond. No.
Selma Diamond was the first.
Selma Diamond was the first one, and she was so funny. But she's in my favorite year. That catches Peter O'Toole in the bathroom. Nominated for 31 Emmys and won 7. I didn't remember it being like that critically acclaimed.
Night Court?
Yeah.
Wow. It was a good show. I
enjoyed
love that.
The 31 Emmy nominations kind
Holy,
of surprised me.
that's-
And I know that John Larroquette won a couple times.
Right.
I remember John Larroquette being very funny on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his character was as a slime ball was fantastic.
I always somehow remembering watching Night Court followed somehow by Benson. Like those two were just always somehow. Maybe I was watching in reruns. I don't know.
that
but,
could be in
but-
reruns.
Yeah, because Benson was
Love it.
ABC, Night Court was NBC.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Benson was years before.
Years before, I would think. Yeah,
I don't know.
but you're right. Maybe it was on syndication.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
While he earned critical acclaim and amassed a devoted fan base on Night Court, Mr. Anderson never fancied himself an actor. I love the expression fancied himself. I'm a magician or a performer by nature, and that's always what I've been. I was never really an actor. I was a magician who fell into a part on Cheers. His role as the swindler, Harry the Hat Gites or Giddies on Cheers. He appeared in 6 episodes, 4 in the show's first 2 seasons, led to him being cast on Night Court. And his character on Cheers was fantastic. And I think that's why I actually tuned into the show, because I was such a Cheers fan those first couple years when no one was watching. So he went from like the lowest rated years of Cheers into his own show that became a hit. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that show hit it off before Cheers really did. Like,
no idea.
or they both got popular at the same time, because Cheers is the only show on television that was last in the ratings and first in the ratings during the course of its run.
Oh.
The week that they almost canceled it, it was it almost got canceled. So I mean, just it's sad, but 65, that's old enough.
Sure.
Well, it's as we're looking at 50. I mean, we're right around that.
Oh my God, I forgot about he was in Dave's World about Dave Barry,
Oh.
which ran for 4 years. There are so many shitty shows that run for all this time, and then great shows like Campus Ladies
Kept
are
going.
often too. Like, what the fuck?
Well, the rest of those shows didn't offend everybody like Campus
This
Ladies.
is probably true.
It's just, the world's not fair.
And
It's not.
he at first famously refused to leave New Orleans during the hurricane in 2005, opting to stay in the French Quarter. He evacuated only when the firefighters stationed nearby said they were leaving. So he did stuff for New Orleans. He was a big fan of jazz. All around nice guy.
All around.
But again, like Barbara Bush and the other one, didn't die young and needlessly. That's long enough.
Speaking of your not really magician stuff, but I don't know if you guys have covered this maybe last week. I don't remember when the
My
announcement
magician
is.
stuff.
No, not your.
Oh.
I just said sort of magician or entertainment acting.
Okay, segue. I'm sorry.
Brilliant new career, though.
Plumbing and magician.
Magic.
Hey,
Magic.
It could
Oh,
be
magic
just
plumber.
Magic plumber.
Oh my God! in a bottle.
Did you guys hear that the Easley's Fun Shop, which is a big long-running costume shop here in the Valley, is
Yeah,
closing?
72 years if I'm not
Closing.
mistaken.
Shut up.
And only
Yep.
about a mile from my house.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I need to go.
How the hell are
I'm-
you not ever been in a goddamn costume store?
I'm sure I've been to
They have
other
magic
I've been
supplies,
to
too.
other costume
magic
shops
thing.
and parties, all those things. I just haven't been to Easley, so I'm like, I need to go.
I'm
They're
surprised.
closing after this Halloween.
This is.
This is their Halloween will be their last.
So
Oh. I'm surprised they're not selling it though.
I know. I thought, why not continue it? It's been
Well,
73 years.
It's
you
a
know?
it's a family run business,
It's
so the
true.
reason to not continue a family run business is because none of the kids want to.
right, and is it
Like
Deb?
that's how that
Who's-
happens.
is
Deb-
it
Deb
Debbie
Easley.
Yeah.
Deb
But they could-
Easley.
yeah.
Her daughter's involved though. The daughter's been
Mm-hmm.
part of that business since time immemorial. They did so many years of costumes for us
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Halloween show.
Sure.
I did it for 18 years, and I think they did my costumes at least 11 or 12 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes phenomenal shit they put together. They bought some costumes that Mardi Gras costume store built for me. There's a couple of really fun things that were built for me that Easley's bought that you can probably go there and rent some of my old
Oh yeah.
Halloween
Right on.
costumes from drag shows. Like there's
Sure.
there's one dress there that I know you can still buy. I've seen the headdress a couple times. Just oh my god, and she was so helpful. We would go in and we'd go in early. We'd go in like July or August for the first meeting with her, give her stupid ideas, and she would let us in to the attic.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, so fucking hot, not temperature controlled. So how those costumes stayed in one piece, I still don't know, because it was not temperature controlled. And we would go up there, and she would walk us through like every thought you ever had about a costume, eras. Oh my god, it was so much. She was so much help and so much fun.
Yeah.
And when she found out the one year that I was having stuff built, she was so nice about it. And then after Halloween, I came back with what I had rented, because I rented some stuff from her, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? She's like, I can rent that headdress out for the rest. It was this big feathered headdress that I wore
Sure.
that was built, and she rented that thing out for years. And just, I mean, that's a good, again, 72 years, good long run.
run,
No,
yeah.
it totally
Run.
is.
The parking restrictions there,
Tiny
they made
little
all
parking
their,
lot,
they made
yeah.
all their money 1 month a year.
Yep.
Absolute insanity. But oh my god, the gosh, they did me as a mermaid one year. All the shit that they did, can dancers, mermaids, hookers, just so
All the food groups.
all the food groups.
Food groups.
And you can get food next door.
And the mermaid thing was her idea. I was talking about Bette Midler, and she was like, because I was skinny and could fit into anything back in those days, and she was like, "Can you get a wheelchair? Do you want a mermaid costume? Do you want to do Bette Midler?" And I was like, yes,
Yes, I
and
do.
yes.
Yeah.
How soon can we get in that? And it was a mermaid costume, but I could walk. The way the fin worked, I could still like get around. I didn't have to be in the wheelchair. And then she rented me the wheelchair because I couldn't find her. I can't remember, but she got me one because I was
Right.
going to steal a customer's wheelchair for the night. We were going to put him in his seat
Right.
and leave him there. But then they're like, what if he has to pee? I'm like, that's not my problem.
The show must go on.
I rented this
Put a bag
goddamn
on him,
chair
let's do
for
it.
the night. But she got me a wheelchair. So much fun. I'll have to go in this sometime because I drive by there every day on my way
Yeah.
to
Right.
work, and just tip of the hat, wag of the finger to her for
Sure.
all the fun years.
And one last, I promise this is a quick thing, just sort of entertainment for Kat.
Sure.
You mentioned a couple of years ago, and I finally took you up on your gracious offer, the podcast about the West Wing, that they've been like talking.
With
Josh Malina
Josh,
and
what's his face?
what's his name?
Yeah,
Excellent. And I'm a big fan of the West Wing, so
yeah. Oh, and they go episode
know,
by
right?
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
too.
that is
That's fucking
inside
deep.
baseball.
it's so
Dive.
good. It is so
Yeah.
good. So thank you for that.
Oh, somebody online I know is listening to that.
Oh,
So
yeah?
I listened to the episodes that I remembered. I found the
Corresponding.
corresponding one.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
listened to a few, and I'm like,
Cute.
wow, this is
Deep.
It's a deep.
dive.
yeah, that's a deep cut. Yeah,
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
yeah.
fun.
Agreed.
Good
Fun,
time.
fun,
I would probably enjoy the West Wing now. Like I could probably go back and start from day one. How many seasons? It's
7.
7.
I could probably go back and just enjoy the hell out of it now that I understand so much more about how It's supposed to
And
work.
they're so
And mostly written and or directed by my favorite name in Hollywood, Tommy Schlamme.
yeah, and it's such
Mr.
it's
Schlamme.
so
That's where he's from, The West Wing.
Oh.
The West Wing is something that you can rewatch. I swear I've watched it like 10 times, and every time you watch it, because it's so deep and it's Aaron Sorkin, it's 80 miles an hour talking.
Oh, you
you learn something new every time you watch an episode. It's amazing.
Yeah. And it's like Gilmore Girls with the speed of that
Yeah.
talking and
Yeah,
the walking
yeah, yeah.
while
Oh
they're
my
like
God.
all the
Oh,
things
the
that are
walk
now
and talk is my favorite.
all the things
so
and
good.
Veep has turned that into the biggest cliche that every conversation has to happen on Veep
Has to be
while
a
they're
walk and
walking
talk.
and swearing because of the West Wing, and that Aaron Sorkin of like, who talks this fast? Like, just stop a second, have that conversation.
He's
stationary.
got a time limit and a lot of shit to
and
say.
it's where
He's gotta-
Allison Janney really got famous. It's where Allison Janney really comes
I
from.
really wanted a CJ Craig spinoff.
And,
Not gonna
okay,
lie.
and
Yeah.
I went out
Like a
because
Hollywood
the,
writer, like a PR.
Grease is in the theaters right now, the 40th anniversary. We just went a couple nights ago.
yeah.
Oh, it is
but,
the 40th
but I
anniversary.
didn't realize that, and I can't remember the actress's name.
Stockard Channing.
And it was in the credits, and I'm like, holy crap. It's her as, 30 years younger. And I'm like,
And
same
still
exact.
over
still-
30
oh,
playing a
it
teenager.
just
Oh,
amazing.
because you're imagining
I
her
think
to
we're
be Abby
talking
Bartlett.
40 years younger.
No,
well,
because the West Wing is in the 90s. It was actually only 20 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah, yeah.
from today. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm going
Oh,
back
it
to
was only like
78.
20, but Stockard Channing was almost 40 playing a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch that now, you're
They
like,
were all-
Good thing it wasn't HD.
They were all 40 playing teenagers, though.
except for Diana Manoff, Frenchie, and John Travolta is 19.
Yeah.
She's a child. I don't think he was 21 yet when they filmed that.
The rest of them make up for it.
that movie
Oh,
was
yeah.
so fast.
I mean, they're
paced.
older, and oldest. Oh my God, Dee Dee Conway is like 30. Olivia Newton-John's over 30.
Yeah.
But grandma's playing a like, because you're like, oh, she's pregnant. Is she in menopause? Like, is that even possible?
Listen, there are worse things she could do.
There are worse things she could do.
But you know what she doesn't have?
Two things.
A segment of her own. Two things is what she brings. Two things is what she's talking about. Two things, important little things. That is what she's spouting out.
You just need two things.
That means two things.
Let's get two things clear.
And then two things about yourself.
And I've come to share with you one of two things. No, two of two things. We're sharing two things right now.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world.
Quick, grab two things you love.
It can be two things.
Only two things in the world I'm scared of. Rise of frazzle, two things.
Remember two things.
I believe in two things.
Guys are only after two things.
What's better, doing two things at once or just one?
Never half-ass two things. Whole ass one thing.
Cat Carlson.
So, usually two things kind of turns out a little ranty. So today, we're gonna go the other way because I saw in my brief but thorough prepping for the show today. Yeah, in the 10 minutes before you guys showed up to the bar.
That's valid.
Yeah, that's more prep than some days.
By 10 minutes.
2 minutes.
Right. Yeah. I did happen to come across two stories, two things, which is how it got in this segment that seemed more hopeful than some. And one of them was the Starbucks story. In case you missed the first hour and a half of crosstalk and debacle, Starbucks is going to close all of their corporate owned.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is a key distinction. It's just corporate owned. So if they are licensed or franchise locations, they may not be closed for the same training. It's
What is
just
the 29th? What physical
it's a
day of the week?
Tuesday.
It's a
It's a Tuesday.
How did they pick that date?
Yep.
Oh,
Out of a
day
hat.
Day after Memorial Day, maybe.
Well, maybe.
All right.
They probably looked at sales and it's a slow day, but they're going to close and put all of their some 8,000 employees through a racial bias training in reaction to the incident that happened at the Starbucks with a couple of black guys hanging out waiting for a friend,
Which was
getting arrested.
Ridiculously.
Right. Disgusting. So that's that feels like a hopeful thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that feels like, okay, we're going the right direction.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I feel like we're still a bunch of white people that don't know what the fuck we're doing.
We're gonna take a breath, especially in Philadelphia,
right?
Which is supposed to have their shit together.
Right.
But
they don't. Nobody does.
They're
They don't.
supposed to, yeah.
Right, and then immediately following that, it's kind of funny. It's from the Great Falls Tribune in Montana, but it was a story about a rodeo clown, as you would in Montana.
Okay.
Who was changing his shtick based on like a sexual harassment angle. So it kind of goes through and describes that he used to just pull pretty women out of the audience and kind of do this over the top like comedic flirt thing, and it was all about how he didn't feel like that was comfortable or appropriate anymore to be pulling young girls out of the audience.
Okay.
And being suggestive towards them.
Yeah.
And so it was just a like
He's
back to back kind of hopeful like wait a minute.
Yeah, somebody wants to do the right thing.
I feel like we're getting it.
What's his new shtick?
You know what? It didn't say.
Okay, that's
No.
fine.
It was more about
clown pulling young boys out of the crowd.
But you're right. Moving on. Yeah, I agree.
Equally appropriate. Yeah. So it was just in a weird turn of events, like hopeful two things.
It's fascinating that you put those two things together.
Well, because
you're quite good at
the same.
that.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is at least they're not doing the Chipotle where they have to close down and teach them how to wash their hands because they're not spreading E. coli.
Good God.
Awkward.
Which I love Chipotle.
Or make
kills me.
queso.
Although I gotta say the latest lettuce outbreak just really relieves me of any guilt of not eating salad. I'm okay with it.
It happened again.
Yeah, there's they traced it back to like Yuma or something.
That's
lettuce.
True. A lot of lettuce
lettuces.
there. So
try to avoid it.
I do agree. It's the right thing to do. Take a breath. You know what I mean? You don't want to see Philadelphia in turmoil, but at the same time, like, and the two Starbucks that I go to the most down here, the one that they just built, there's a homeless problem on all four sides of that store. Like that store is just next to a park that's filled with the indigent, probably disenfranchised. But there's a real problem with homeless people there. They're always wandering up to that Starbucks. There's people begging for money on all four of those corners
you're
at
talking
all
about
times.
7th Avenue and Osborne?
No, 7th Street and McDowell. But
okay.
7th Avenue and Osborne has its own little problem, but 7th Street and 7th Avenue in McDowell also has less of a problem because they don't have that park there. There's that park at 7th Street and McDowell where like the homeless people it's where they live.
Right across from the Pride offices, yeah.
Yes, which I finally looked and saw this time.
And they're there.
I cut down that street and I'm like, oh, there's the Pride office everybody was talking about, and there's where Marnie got locked in. So, I mean, if you can handle that crowd, you can handle two guys waiting for a ride.
Right.
You know what I mean? You should be able to.
There's no need to jump the shark.
There's no need to do that kind of stuff. And the people at the Starbucks that I go to are very kind. They're very tolerant and helpful. I know they do some kind of like giving back program with the food at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's some grocery store near us now that has a no waste policy. Is it Safeway now that hasn't?
I'll bet it's not. I'll bet it's something like Winco.
No, it's either. I don't go to Fry's. It might be the Fry's at 7th Avenue and Camelback.
Oh,
but one of them has the no waste program where they're like giving the food to the
instead of throwing it out, give it away.
They give it away. They give it to shelters. So I mean, there's just something to be said for like handling the shit in the area that you're in that you don't need to just resort to cop calling. Like, don't escalate it like that. Don't make it seem like a problem.
My first
maybe introduce yourself and ask a question like, what's going on? Why are you here? If you're not buying coffee, what you doing?
Right.
My first.
Can I get you something? Can I ask a question? And treat everybody with a little bit of respect. You might find out.
Oh, I solve a lot of problems that way.
Yeah.
What you doing?
It's a really shitty spring with some really shitty weather. We're just waiting inside. Good day to you.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
See you later.
My first job ever, and which didn't last very long. I worked at a Cinnabon for 4 hours, and it's a very
what a long, hard road.
I worked at Denny's for a very similar amount of time.
I asked to be promoted to manager, and they declined, so I resigned. But anyways, they had a policy of giving things to the homeless, and no one could get their act together on apparently the first day of operation of that Cinnabon in a Smitty's. I think that's where it was, which didn't make any sense at all. Because who wants sticky things with groceries? And
I do.
Oh, I do.
Okay. Cinnabon and the grocery store.
In fact, when Smitty's was bought out locally by Fry's, they built the new Fry's, which at the time was the one at 20th and Highland. when I walked in the first day and I saw they had a brand new Cinnabon inside, I was in heaven.
I can go to the back, get my ice cream, come to the front, get my nice hot Cinnabon, sit in the parking lot and eat that shit immediately.
We sold like 0 Cinnabons that night, so all of them went to the homeless shelter. But at least they were going to a good cause.
Right, and there was a problem before with like, oh, they're gonna sue if something spoils on the way over. You know what I mean? If it can't be properly refrigerated, then it's like, you know what? Your sandwiches aren't like.
Right.
Take
nothing
care
is
with things that need to be like held at the correct temperature, and the rest like help somebody out.
Right.
Because I mean the homeless situation. I mean we got nothing on San Francisco or San Diego or like L.A. But
I know.
the homeless problem here and the mental health problems here in Phoenix have just escalated. I don't know if it's just because I drive through it every single day, but it is.
It has expanded.
It's very, very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And something's got to be done somewhere.
Yeah.
To help these people, because you can tell a lot of them just need.
They just want to leg up.
help.
They just give them some jobs somehow.
Some of them need like actual help and counseling,
absolutely.
and there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
It's just it's sad, but we have the weather to support it for right now.
They escape from St. Joe's periodically. Sometimes bring in their IV bag with them.
Yep, seen that.
Yep. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good times.
Wow. Haven't seen that.
I was reading a story. I was looking up something trying to find out if I could figure out the no waste thing for grocery stores.
I was going to say, was it magic?
No, Sprouts has I've got a copyright on that magical plumber.
I'm going to look up the dome.
No,
He's added it to his LinkedIn
Sprouts
profile.
is a store that I guess is announcing some new locations, and they're doing that as
7th
well.
Avenue in Osborne.
Where the no waste for their food and all that stuff, it either goes to a farm or they give it to people. So stuff that's not edible, they obviously shoot out to a farm and give it to livestock or whatever the hell.
And we should, because food waste is a massive problem in this country. I mean, it needs to go.
But I got into a Phoenix recycling thing about how many fucking problems those goddamn plastic bags cause to the recycling program, and it's about $1 million a year it costs
to
unclog everything that those damn things. So by all means, if you've got those plastic bags, save them in a sack of some sort in your house and take them to the grocery store and put them in the thing where you can recycle those bags. Because in Arizona, we can't even bring up the fact of eliminating the goddamn things.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
and then make sure that your
Dumbest
store
legislature
does
ever.
something with them, because you don't want to find out
that they just trash them.
That you're not part of a recycle program.
They're just going in a dumpster.
No, I save them all out there in one big plastic bag, and then I take them like once a month to Fry's.
Yeah.
But I do take my cloth bags, my reusable bags all the time now.
And I do the reuse. Like if I travel, when I pack shoes, I put them in plastic bags so they don't get the dirt of the ground on my clothes and
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
I think we're going to bypass our thoughtful vulgarity
I think I
segment.
qualify.
We've been very thoughtful. We were thoughtful for an hour and a half at the top of this thing.
Joe has requested, you said like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the first hour of this greatest hits.
Yes, let's listen to us listening to us.
Let's stimulating
Let's watch
radio.
us listen to us.
Stimulating radio. We'll see how this goes.
I'm terrified.
And good luck to all of you.
Not Quite Q Talk America mostly presents.
For a very special episode of the show with Clayton McKee.
I was taken out of context. Everyone's favorite.
I want to be taken out of context.
It feels like the impossible dream to dream it, like just to try.
I feel like no.
Look at the time, please. Write that down.
Well, I have no f***ing idea what has happened. I am so
That's
happy.
my favorite in a long time.
Do you remember that?
When all of a sudden there was just an odd noise.
Oh.
Let's relive this horror. Where did they go?
Jesus Christ.
So, like, if we had an editor for this show,
somebody could actually make it funny by editing it.
Is that a thing that could still happen?
How long do you think that's going to take?
A couple years. Yeah. I think they're all royalty free, and they could be the theme song to this show.
Oh my God!
You missed the new on hold music. You didn't even pay attention to it.
Oh, that's true.
Where are you to be on hold at?
It sounds almost exactly the same.
You found Q Talk America, home of the show with Clayton McKee.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, the cast of the show has been all like mixing cocktails, brewing coffee, watching Cat on a Roomba videos, restoring power, or whatever else they do before the show starts. Oh, my bad. Did I swear before my British counterpart read a disclaimer?
Oh, and by the way, the following 14-hour show Just kidding. Most likely, and quite literally contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. This train wreck is not provided with any warranty express or implied. Cannot be combined with any other. Do not puncture or incinerate this broadcast.
The Supreme Court has ruled that listening to this broadcast while performing surgery
May be a violation of federal law. This disclaimer is not valid within 6 kilometers of the Volga River. Actual knowledge is usually not contained in this broadcast. I'm right on top of that, Rose. Do not consume this entire broadcast in one sitting. The views represented on this broadcast may not represent the views of this broadcast. And, finally, the goddamned fucking batteries are probably not included.
Actually, yeah. Look.
You forgot that one thing. Rachel will be very angry. I wasn't ready that time. Okay, I'm good.
Jesus Christ!
As you might have figured out by now, this probably isn't the Q Talk America you're looking for.
This show is a result of a lost bet in a bad game of marry, fuck, kill, or was it that game with the cutting shears?
This is the best of the show with Clayton McKee, Season 4. Parenthetically, the funniest moments of. And now, a man who was voted most talkative person west of Central Avenue, Val Perkins.
What the fuck am I in the middle of?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Formerly with Clayton McKee.
Somehow in the move, I didn't get this one.
Oh, his microphone's not working. Everyone, that's an all skate. Everyone drink. That's a technical.
Yeah, it's a technical error.
Please drink.
I can tell from where we move from one studio to another based on the echo. I can tell from that.
How funny.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
funny, Joe.
It's really good.
See? Oh, I was right. If you edit this, it's a funny
It's
show.
a funny show. with
Otherwise,
editing.
it's just 3 hours of wah, 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 wah. Natalie Cole this, Natalie Cole that.
156 hours of broadcasting.
We need to up our game at the telethon so we can afford an editor from now on.
You should have a
is there a
telethon.
telethon?
Oh, that's a new feature.
I didn't know we were having a telethon.
Why isn't there a
Season 7.
telethon?
Oh, I like the thought of a telethon. That's good. We should do that. Oh, maybe have a plumbers convention. We could do that.
Incidentally, ClaytonTheMagicPlumber.com is available.
Oh, is it good? Very excited about that.
You could have a song similar to Puff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, Clayton the Magic Plumber.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Sure, live by the
like
sea.
it.
Anyways,
Or
there's a
maybe
lot
not.
of awesome stuff in
That's
that, so
fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
check
Oh,
it out.
thank you. Yeah, I'm
Check-
very
check
curious
it
to.
out, yeah.
I'll have to go through. I will have to go through and listen to that
We're hilarious.
when edited down.
3 minutes a show.
A condensed show. Absolutely. Well, here we are. Like I said, it was our 6th year. We've done this 6 years,
still
and
on?
yeah, we're still good. Al, thank you, Al.
Congratulations, everyone.
Right on top of that, Rose. Cheers indeed. Thanks, Joe.
Yes. Anywho, we've done it. Thank you all in the chat room for being here. Thanks, Joe DeGanzik, for putting together the greatest hits of season 4. I guess we're about to start. Well, sometime we'll start season 7, right?
Tuesday.
We'll figure it out. Okay. I don't know.
Why change now?
Right.
As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.
David, what does burning smell like?